You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
From the place show, yet not overly ostentatious studios of the Infinity Sports Network here in beautiful New York City, sitting on top of the 10th floor of 345 Hudson Street. Welcome on in to what is a Wednesday edition of the Zach Gelb Show across all of our great local Infinity Sports Network affiliates, Sirius XM, Channel 375, the free Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and also streaming live on YouTube. 888-710-4ISN is the number to jump on in. 888-710-4476. You could always get at me on Instagram, where I'm straight flexing, or via the good old cesspool of Twitter at Zach Gelb. That's ZACHGELB, or on TikTok at The Zach Gelb Show. We have a loaded lineup for you today. Bijan Robinson from the Atlanta Falcons. They play Monday night as they welcome in the Buffalo Bills. He's going to join us at 3:15 p.m. Eastern time, so 15 minutes from now. Jadarian Price, the running back, one of the running backs at Notre Dame, he's going to stop by at 4:20 p.m. Eastern time. We will have a special show announcement at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So 5 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. Pacific, we have a special show announcement. And then following that at 5:20 p.m. Eastern time today, former Phillies pitcher, World Series champion Brett Myers will join us as we have not one, not two, not three, but 4 postseason games today. All 4 series are in play. Coming up in about 6 to 7 minutes, Mariners and Tigers will be going down Game 4 in Detroit. The Mariners did take a 2-1 series lead last night. Brewers and Cubs will be having Game 3. Bart Winkler will be all pumped up as he'll be watching that game from Milwaukee, even though it's being played in Chicago at 5:08 p.m. Eastern time as the Brewers are trying to advance to the NLCS. They're already up 2-0. You have the Blue Jays and the Yankees, Stu and Samter's New York Yankees trying to avoid elimination. Aaron Judge with the big home run last night off the foul pole. So Toronto leads that series 2-1. We'll see if Cam Schlittler, I believe I said that name correctly. I always have to hesitate there. I don't want Stu to hit the dump button right out of the gate. If he can have another heroic postseason game, I actually did bet the Blue Jays plus 150. You know, youngster after a great postseason start. Kind of think the Blue Jays are a good bet tonight. And then we get the Phillies and the Dodgers, and we'll see if the big bats for the Phillies will be able to show up in Game 3 or if the Dodgers will be going back to the NLCS once again after the LA Dodgers did take the first 2 in Philadelphia. So a whole lot to do today. Let's start the show actually with the Eagles. So we played this for you on Monday. I think we even replayed it on Tuesday. I want to just give you one more thought about this on Wednesday because it kind of started a whole big stink with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. There was so much before the game about their relationship or lack of it. And then during the game, A.J. Brown is wide open. He either slowed down or Jalen Hurts overthrew him. And then at the end of the game, it was just fitting as the Eagles blew it up against the Broncos that Jalen Hurts has Devontae Smith in the back of the end zone. They're crowded. A.J. Brown goes up for the ball as well and kind of knocks it out of the hands of Devontae Smith. So there's been some things, even with the social media posting of A.J. Brown, where you say, uh-oh, here we go again. But this was A.J. Brown immediately after the game on Sunday in his locker room asking about what happened on the missed deep pass earlier in the game that probably would have ended it and got the Eagles to remain undefeated.
From my point of view, we just missed,
It looked like you slowed up on the play. Did you not think the ball was coming your way, or what happened with that?
It's not that I didn't think the ball was coming. When I looked up, I didn't see the ball. And I looked back, I didn't see the ball. And then the ball was thrown. So, like I said, we just missed.
Did you guys talk after the play about maybe miscommunication, what happened?
No.
That last part, kind of thrown in there, but that's pretty significant. For example, let's say Stu and I, we had an issue. Let's say I throw to an audio cut. Stu plays the wrong audio cut. And then we eventually go to commercial break. Not that I'm going to run up to Stu. What are you, an idiot? What are you, a moron? What are you, a dope? What are you, just like crazy? Like if it was Samter, maybe. Stu, not so much. But anyway, Samter's ready to pounce there. I saw him. He's inching close to the microphone. Yo, that's what you would do. So I go, all right, let me save myself here real quickly. But I think it would be very common if, let's say, Stu was A.J. Brown and I was Jalen Hurts, for me to go up to Stu and say, hey, Stu, like, just what happened? What went wrong? What could we do to make this work better? Or Stu could walk in and be like, hey, my bad, right? Or, oh, this is what happened, and explain yourself. So not that it's the end of the world, right? There's miscommunications. There are things in life that happen. But the fact that A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, in the course of a game, didn't even talk about it. What are they doing on the sidelines? How are they getting ready for their next drive? So this whole stink came out of this because it even kind of got louder and louder and louder, the talk of their lack of relationship. And yesterday, Jimmy Kempski, who does a good job covering the Eagles for a long time, he tweeted out, I'm told Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley had a long positive conversation today, lasted a couple hours. Now, who doesn't belong in that conversation? Saquon Barkley, right? This is an issue between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. So what is Saquon doing? He's trying to be the guy in the middle. All right, Jalen, you say your piece. A.J., you say your piece. I'll give some feedback, all that stuff. So I respect Saquon Barkley for doing it. But it shows it's an issue. Because if it was just, A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts met, all right, they hash it out. You don't know which way it's going to go. But the fact that Saquon's there, it is clear that they're trying to find a solution to the problem that's been going on now for 3 years with these guys, right? They were 10-1. They were unbelievable. And, well, they weren't unbelievable. The record was unbelievable. There were problems, and then won one game down the stretch. Last year, there was problems last year between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. They said, bleep this, and they ended up winning a Super Bowl. But now after one loss, these problems and these issues, it's, here we go again. And there's 2 years of sample size. One went really well. The other went horribly wrong. So I think that the Eagles are just trying to find a way where not that Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown have to like each other, but that they could just get on the same page and make it work so it's a repeat of last year and not what happened 2 years ago. So Jalen Hurts is often very short with the media. He's very stoic. I'll never forget being the Eagles after party after they won the Super Bowl last year. And I looked over at him, and he was just like sitting down, casually being there. Like, you wouldn't have thought that he just won the Super Bowl. He's not a guy that wears his emotions on his sleeves. I think he kind of channels a lot of what Kobe Bryant, the late, great Kobe Bryant, used to do, where it's like, job's not done yet, or even what Brady did. Even after he went, at least Brady would show some emotion, but he's like, I'm on to the next one. But here was Jalen Hurts in the meeting with A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley.
Man, it's just us talking about the collective, talking about taking ownership for what we can, and talking about how we move forward as a team so we continue to find ways to win games.
Why the need for a meeting, do you think?
It's really just teammates being teammates.
What was your takeaway in the conclusion of the meeting?
Say that again?
What was your takeaway and conclusion of the meeting?
I don't want to make this about that, right? We got a short week. We got a division opponent coming in here. I enjoyed every second of it, and I'm enjoying every second of every opportunity we have to improve. And so that's what I've always made it about. That's what I'll continue to make it about. It's truly about the collective and what we do and the opportunities we have in front of us. And so everybody in this building just wants to take advantage of that.
It's truly about the collective. Okay. Here's Saquon Barkley in the meeting between Hurts and A.J. Brown.
Yeah, we had a conversation, but I'm not going to speak too much on it. I feel like that conversation is meant to stay between us, but focus was all about the team, and I think it was a good thing. Yeah, I wouldn't definitely say it wasn't like a players' meeting. When you hear players' meeting, that's like all hell's breaking loose. It wasn't that at all. But also, we're teammates, we're all friends. Like, we were just having a conversation, and I personally wish that wasn't out there, to be honest. But people saw us having a conversation and they got out there, but I don't think we need to make too much of that. Our main focus is on the Giants.
Where there's smoke, there's a fire. And it doesn't mean that this fire is going to burn the house down right now, but it could damage the infrastructure of the house. I think this is the beginning of the end of A.J. Brown in Philadelphia. There have been issues between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts the last 2 years. 2 years ago, the season was a disaster down the stretch. Last year, even with some issues, they found a way to win the Super Bowl. So could they find a way to rectify it on the short term and go win another Super Bowl this year? Absolutely. Can it also derail their season as what happened 2 years ago? 1,000%. I don't know how this is going to go. And I'm not saying A.J. Brown's going to get traded from now until the deadline. But in the offseason, if you tell me that A.J. Brown gets traded, that wouldn't shock me for a single second. Would not shock me whatsoever. Because you have Jalen Hurts, you have A.J. Brown, who's supposed to be best friends, right? When the whole trade happened, the FaceTime, all that stuff. And even when they're winning and they've won a Super Bowl, there's immediate issues that have carried over into the next season. And this just feels as if we're on a collision course where Jalen Hurts isn't going to go anywhere. And eventually the wide receiver, not by the deadline, but in the offseason, or maybe later down the road, is going to get traded from this football team. And it's a shame that they can't just say, all right, we'll put the Eagles aside and just find a way to make the two of them work together for the long term in Philadelphia, because Jalen Hurts is a heck of a quarterback and A.J. Brown is a heck of a wide receiver. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network, talking about a heck of a football player, Bijan Robinson from the Atlanta Falcons. He'll join us next.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Zach Gelb Show.
I'm actually flying to Atlanta on Monday morning, doing the show in Atlanta, and I'm going to see the Atlanta Falcons take on the Buffalo Bills. on Monday Night Football, so looking forward to that. And Atlanta Falcons running back Bijan Robinson has partnered with Colgate Total to highlight Colgate Total Active Prevention System and emphasize the importance of preventive oral health. And Bijan Robinson, the star running back for the Atlanta Falcons, is here with us. Bijan, it's usually great to see you. We always see you at the Super Bowl. Appreciate you coming on. How you been?
I've been amazing, man. Thank you for having me on the show. But yeah, man, been great. How have you been?
I've been fantastic. I'm confused, though. Is it Bijan or is it Bijan? Because I feel like it changes now every day.
Just say Bijan.
So now we're back to Bijan, not Bijan?
There you go. Yeah. How you always been saying it? Keep saying it just like that.
So what was the change? Were you just messing around?
No, they just asked me a question, and I just I had to answer it, and I just told them like my mom says it, Bijan, but I've been saying it my whole life, Bijan. So we'll just keep it as that.
You know, the whole offseason, once I heard this, I'm sitting there, I'm like, Bijan. Now we could go back to Bijan, though. So you make it easier for me. I appreciate that.
No problem. Got you.
So you guys are coming off the bye week. First 4 games, you guys sit there at 2-2. You have a big one on Monday up against Buffalo. Just how do you look at what this team has been able to do through the first 4 games of the season?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very good team that we're about to play up against, man. They have a very explosive offense. They play very good team defense. So for us, like, it's very important to execute on both sides of the ball. And for us, like, yeah, we came off of a bye week, but we started watching, and I was still watching what they do well, what they don't do well, and trying to see like those little nuances that will make us have an edge during the game. So, but they're top 5 team in the NFL. So for us, like, we have to come in there. This is a Super Bowl game for us because it's the next game. How every game is for us. So we got to go in there playing with the edge and making sure that we're locked in. So we have an amazing performance on Monday.
When people talk about your team, they say they have the potential to be good. Potential means, in my opinion, you haven't done it yet. Sell me why this Falcons team can reach the potential and be a good team like people are talking about you all throughout the offseason.
Yeah, man. I mean, the word potential is a bad word for me because I feel like when you have a potential to do something, then you're almost there, or you're not reaching where you should be. So for us, like, we have to understand that every single game is important, and we have to make sure every single game, no matter if it's a division game, if it's not, like, we have to play at our expectation, not what other people expect, not what other people think of us, but at our expectation. And I feel when we do that, man, like, yes, we can be a very hard team to stop, but we have to continue to prove it every single week. We can't play great one week and then play horrible the next week. So being consistent is the biggest thing for us, and making sure that we're doing it every single day in practice so we can have that showing in the game is what we're all trying to play for. So that's the biggest thing for us as the Falcons, and I feel like when we do that the right way, then everything else will take care of itself.
Do you guys feel like you're close? I know you have to do it, but do you feel like you're close to putting this together as a team consistently?
Most definitely. I feel we're doing it every day. We see it every day, and yeah, like, the beginning of the season was sometimes it's a little slow because we didn't play a game before the first game, so sometimes it can go a little slower. But I feel like now, like, we're where we want to be, and we're at the level of play that we want to play at. So now it's, like I said, right now, like, being consistent with it and making sure that we have a great product every single week.
Bijan Robinson from the Atlanta Falcons is here with us on behalf of Colgate. We'll talk about Colgate in just a second. A few weeks ago, your coach in a press conference said you're the best player in the NFL. How did you process that, and do you think you are the best player in the NFL?
Man, I got a lot of work to do. There's too many great players in this league, and for me, I know God blessed me to play this game at a high level, but I got a lot of work to put in, and I eventually want to strive to be that guy, but I got to rely on so many other players, not just me, but my teammates play a big part in that. Like, I want the O-line to be the best O-line in the NFL. I want Mike to be the best quarterback in the NFL. I want Drake to be the best receiver. So, like, there's so many pieces that play into that. I appreciate him for the love that he's shown me since he's been here, and vice versa. But for me, like, I know me personally, I have a lot of work to do before I become anywhere in that sentence, for sure.
Who do you think is the best player in the NFL? Like, if I did that NFL top 100 list, who are you voting number one right now?
I think we're about to play him. And I think, I can't wait for our defense to match that challenge and to come in with a fire and with a will to, dominate in that game. And, for me, like, it's going to be, really cool to see our defense, accept the challenge and go against, Josh Allen, those guys, and what they have going on. And, James Cook, I respect him a lot. Like he's done a lot of great things in this league. So, I can't wait to just share the field with those guys and play at a really high level.
Talk to me a little bit about your quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. We saw him a little bit at the end of last season. We know what he did at Washington. We know his story going back to Indiana. Now he's the guy from the start to the end. What do you think he could be as a quarterback?
I mean, the sky's the limit. Like, he has elite talent. Like, he has an amazing arm, obviously, that everybody knows about. But I feel like with him, that takes him over the edge that people don't know is, like, he's just the most calm, chill dude on high pressure situations and on the field, off the field. Like, he's himself throughout the time, and that he's out there, and he's going to put on a show, and all he wants to do is just help the team win, man. Like, he's trying to learn every single day. He's trying to be at his best every single day. So for him, it's just really important that he, gets off, that we're all supporting him, and, that we're all by his side, because, he has just elite talent that he shows every single day in practice, but then on Sundays on the field too.
I got to talk about your college. I know that you were at the game last week. I saw you on social media before the game being there supporting your guys. It didn't go well for them.
Yeah.
How about Arch Manning right now? It's been disappointing so far. They got Red River this weekend, so we'll see what he does. But what's your view of Arch Manning right now as a quarterback?
I mean, he just has to learn, man. Take it one week at a time. Like, this is still his first season playing college football. So, I know people have these crazy expectations, but, for him, like, staying out the media, staying outside of, just making sure that he's in himself and he believes in himself and what he believes in the talent that he's been given is the most important thing. But, everybody, it's not just him, like, everybody on the team, they all need to come together. They all need to, have a player-led meeting as one. And I know that they probably have already. And they know, like, if we just do what we're supposed to do this week and not look at the rest of the season, but this week, then everything else can take care of itself. So I'm really excited for those guys, man.
It's so early, so it's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what happens? People say, Arch Manning's already a bust. I say that's way too premature. But what do you say to people that are already using the B word with Arch Manning?
That's horrible. Like, I feel like you shouldn't put that on a kid because all he's trying to do is improve. All he's trying to do is become the best that he can become, not just for himself, but for his team. So, that word, the B word, I really hate that people use that word, especially with him, man. Like, he's one guy that if you knew who he was as a person, then you would know that all he's trying to do is make his team the best. So, it's a word that creeps into guys' minds when you tell them that. And, I really hate that because, everybody has a chance to improve. Everybody has a chance to get better. And when they do, like, then people have another narrative and they want to say he's the best or it was a fluke or something like that. So, all it takes is time, man, and patience, and then he'll become, and everybody else will become what they want to become too.
And maybe I'm going to be dead wrong with this prediction, but college football has been so wacky this year, and we're only sitting here on the 8th day of October.
It has.
Everyone should pick Oklahoma in this game. I kind of think Texas is going to win on Saturday. It would fit into the narrative of this season, really.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know it with rivalries. Like, they always turn out to be like, it doesn't matter if you're the best team in the country and the worst team in the country, like, or vice versa. Like, that game can become to the end and to the wire, just because the expectation of it. But like you said, like, college football is a lot different now, with just NIL and, maybe guys not being at the same college for the same year and they're winning out. So maybe the love of the rivalry is maybe going a little down, but, I feel like, if guys just understand what they're playing for at the end of the day, then, you'll always have the right competition. You'll always have the right understanding of what you're playing for, for your team.
Before we let you run Bijan Robinson, and obviously we'll talk about Colgate in just a second, you guys have 4 games so far. I've been impressed with Kyle Pitts. You got some youngsters on the defensive end who have been some people early on your team. When we don't talk about a Drake London or a Michael Penix Jr. or yourself that are really stand out and impressing you through 4 games.
Yeah, so Elijah Wilkinson, he's our right tackle. He's one guy that's impressed me a lot, man. Like, he stepped in at the right moment, and he stepped in at a moment of when we needed him the most, and he's been nothing but amazing for this O-line. Like, he's been nothing but amazing for this offense. He's turning into a dominant player right in front of our eyes, which is really cool to see that. And then Divine Diablo, our linebacker, I mean, that dude is a freak. Like, he changes this defense. Obviously, we have so many guys on defense that are amazing, from all the rookies. All the rookies have been playing lights out, from Jalen to James to Billy to Xavier. Like, those dudes are stars in this league, and they're going to be for a long time to come. But yeah, those are 2 guys that I've really been impressed with up to this point, and I really can't wait to see like their growth continue to go throughout the season.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Xavier Watts. If we go back to when he was playing at Notre Dame, Kirk Cousins, that this league's a business. How he's handled this situation. There's all these trade rumors. I know Flacco got dealt the other day. Just give me a little insight on the way that Kirk has just handled himself around the guys.
Man, it's been great, man. Like, he's so positive, and his personality just matches everybody else's. And, he's been just laughing with the guys, getting guys better. If we have advice for him, or if we're asking for advice from him, like, he's always there to give it to us. And, he's been in the league for a long time. So he's seen a lot around this NFL league, and, it's really good to have him as a mentor, not just from Mike, but for myself, for everybody on the team, just because he's so aware of what goes on in the NFL and how to handle it. So he's been nothing but a blessing for all of us, for him to be there.
Bijan Robinson, tell me what you're doing today with the fine folks at Colgate.
Yes, sir. So I'm super excited, obviously, to have this partnership with Colgate. It's been, just amazing to be with the Colgate Total Active Vision System that comes with the toothbrush, the toothpaste, and the mouthwash. And it's been, just really near and dear to my heart, because, my oral health is so important. And, yeah, from my teeth, from my gums to anywhere going on in my mouth, like, I'm such a positive person. So I smile a lot. People always ask me, like, why you smile so much? And that's just who I am. So I want to make sure that my teeth are at its best condition. And, being a partner with Colgate has been, nothing short of a blessing, because, I can, maximize my oral health problems at its finest. And, even if I have to go to the dentist or, be ready for that, like, I'll be ready at the best level that I can get it at because of the total active vision system. So it's been amazing, man. And then, obviously tomorrow is the debut of the commercial that we have on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. So I hope everybody gets to watch that and make them happy, and that makes them happy, and it makes them want to, join the family as well with Colgate. So it's been pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I used my Colgate toothpaste earlier this morning, and now I'm coming to Atlanta on Monday, which I'll bring it with me on the plane so I can brush my teeth, obviously, in the hotel. I expect you to score a touchdown, by the way, with me being in the building on Monday night, and make sure you don't drop the football until you get in the end zone. That's been a big problem the last 2 weeks around this league.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, man, that's very unfortunate, but I hope he's doing all right, man.
Yeah, how about that? I know you got to run. Just last thing. How about that whole situation in Arizona with DeMercado, and then the coach got fined $100,000 when he bumped him? I didn't think it was that big of a deal, the bump, but that was quite something the last few days.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody was on high emotion after that play, and I know the coach was upset. But I mean, yeah, like, talking to your player, I guess just being aware, like, there's cameras everywhere, and anything that you do, like, it's gonna get snipped. And it was he probably said something totally different that we all just don't know about. But like, when he gets caught on camera, like, that's when we have to face the consequences. But yeah, I hope they're doing well. I hope that running back's doing well. I respect him a lot. So all you can do is learn from it and keep pushing.
Bijan, always a thrill to get you on the show. Always appreciate the time. Thanks so much for doing this. Be well.
Yes, sir, Zach. Have a good one.
You got it. There he is, one of our favorites, Bijan Robinson. That's the third time he's joined us on the show now, so now he's officially a friend of the show, joining us right there on the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Just real quickly, let me squeeze in Chris in Birmingham, Alabama, next up on the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Chris, good afternoon. How are you?
It's fine to see you that Falcon filth on the show and discuss it. Was a bad case of I'm a Saints fan. Ugh.
Well, I apologize about that, but you got Bijan Robinson on the show. I got to get him on the show, you know?
Yeah, I have two things to deal with about Zach Gelb, right? First being in college football and pro football. What is Dan Orlovsky tweeting out talking about South Carolina's like real tough 5-game stretch of a schedule, how they constantly get it every year? He's supposed to be an ESPN college football analyst, right? Does he not know what a big man's conference is compared to the Big Ten or the ACC?
Oh, the Big Ten's still a pretty good conference. The Big Ten, they won the last two national championships. They have, though.
No, I'm not giving that because guess what? You had to add on just to even get to that point. So,
but they still won. So they had to play more games, and they still won the national championship last year. Did they not?
No, we're talking about is overall right now. But
they didn't have to add. They didn't have to add when Michigan played. I will say that was still a 4-team playoff. But continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that's just one thing because somebody's talking like seriously, like we.
Chris, I love you, but can't you just admit it? The SEC is a heck of a conference. The SEC could be great, and the Big Ten could also be great. Why can't you just say that?
No, because certain people named Kirk Candidate said it was top heavy. When retrospect, you can't look in the mirror and see.
Indiana, I tell you, they beat South Carolina if they played tomorrow. I'll tell you that. Indiana would.
Yeah, let's see. Let's have the North South play. But let's talk about the NFL with the Arizona Cardinals head coach Mike Glennon. And players pretty much saying that he shouldn't hit him. Listen, the running back. The point is, you do realize but that play, which pretty much can help you till you win the game. You can also keep your job if you win games, right? Mm-hmm. Not if you lose. So I'm not fully against. I don't fully sign up to hit the coach hitting the player, but I understand that frustration and why it happened because these are your jobs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to the UFL. So to say like who was it? James Harrison said coach had to run the save. You do realize you're risking an assault charge, right? 1, 2. You also lose a job. Either way it go, you'll be in the NFL probably within the next or another team, depending on what your status is. Within the next 5 seconds, not accepting the reason how they got to that point is he fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
Instead of just running it in.
Well, hey, Chris, I got to run, but appreciate it. Thank you for the call. I think he said Mike Glennon. Jonathan Gannon is the coach of the Cardinals. I didn't really understand the assault thing. So if you're advocating for an assault charge, I don't think that's going to happen. But I think we were on the same wavelength as this. DeMarcado was in the wrong because he fumbled the ball before scoring the touchdown. Jonathan Gannon has every right to be upset. And I was talking to Ron the Show Hughley last night in Houston because he was annoyed with me for saying that it was ridiculous that Gannon got fined $100,000. And he compared what Gannon did to how Bobby Knight. It's not even close. What Bobby Knight would used to do up against Jonathan Gannon. What Jonathan Gannon did was basically no different than what Andy Reid did to Travis Kelce a few weeks ago. Did Andy Reid get fined? No. It's because the Cardinals are a soft organization. They are. I'm not saying that you can walk up to a player and punch him across the face or, grab him by the face mask and humiliate him, but he bumped his player. He's basically saying that's not acceptable. Wake up. What are you doing? You're going to cost us the game. So each situation is different. The DeMarcado and the Gannon situation, compared to anything, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And now Gannon's in the wrong and Gannon has to apologize. It is ridiculous. I thought Des Bryant had a good perspective on social media. He basically blasted the entire thing. All right, this is Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Good stuff with Bijan Robinson. Jadarian Price, Notre Dame running back. Big day for running backs on the show. He's going to join us at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a show announcement at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And then World Series champion and Phillies pitcher Brett Myers is going to stop by at 5:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Now stopping by to update you in the world of sports with, the latest sports flash is the Ackman, Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
And this report is sponsored by Advantage Gold. Championships are built on defense, so are winning retirement portfolios. Learn more about Advantage Gold today. Text Gold to 85545. That's 85545, and see how gold and silver can help protect your retirement. Visit AdvantageGold.com for terms, message, and data rates may apply. Newly acquired Joe Flacco will start at quarterback for the Bengals Sunday. He faced the Packers in Week 3 and beat them, and now will try to do it for a second team just a few weeks later. Lamar Jackson is sitting out today's practice after missing Sunday's loss of a hamstring injury, while Darius Slayton's hamstring injury has him ruled out for the Giants tomorrow night. Baseball right now, the Mariners with an early 1-0 lead over the Tigers in Game 4 of that series. Dominic Canzone with an RBI single in the top half of the second. Casey Mize going up against Bryce Miller this afternoon in that game. The Yankees staved off elimination, will now try to do it again, down 2-1, hosting Blue Jays tonight. The National League Series resume as well. The Cubs will try to stay alive, hosting Game 3 after dropping the first 2 in Milwaukee. And the last game of the day, the Dodgers look to pull off the sweep of the Phillies. I'm Rich Ackerman.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
Alrighty, it's time to Ask the Pros, where you, the listener, get to ask us a question. Brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply tweet your question at INFSportsNet or at Zach Gelb using the hashtag #AskThePros. Be listening later in the show. We might answer your question. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts. The Zach Gelb tip line, the Zach Gelb Show tip line is undefeated, folks. I'm telling you, we just did this interview with Bijan Robinson, right? I then go to break, and there's a certain group chat that I'm in. And this group chat is buzzing. And it's work-related. And I'm like, oh, Bijan Robinson was good, right? I like when he's on the show. He talked about Arch. I'm sitting there, I go, okay. He said Josh Allen's the best player in the NFL. I'm sitting there, and I go, that's a good conversation. Did I expect to have 50 text messages about it? No. So I'm reading through this, and I go, this has nothing to do with show content. In terms of what just happened on our show. And I'm trying to find out what it is. And then I see a video of Chris Cuomo on News Nation. Now, let me just be honest. When it gets into politics, do I think we're usually going to bring that on to this show? 9.9 times out of 10, no. Are there some days where something political happens and you have to talk about it? Yes. But I think a lot of times people tune in into this show to get away from all the bull crap, right? Get away from all the distractions. Get away from all the pressing issues. And they just want to tune in to hear about sports, whatever guests we have on. And then also, let's be real, the good nature fun that we have where Samter and Stu will throw jabs at one another. I'll throw a jab at Samter. I'll throw a jab at Stu. And just the fun things that happen on this show. Now, I'll tell you, last night, I got a tweet. And I was going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And when I was going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I was perusing Twitter, which is never a smart thing because if something is really crazy, then you're up and then you never go back to sleep. But I got a tweet from a guy by the name of Scott Ferguson who said, wanted to shout out my guy, Zach Gelb. Dude raves about blue cheese over ranch. I've always been a ranch guy, but because his sports takes are spot on, I finally tried blue cheese. Bro, turns out you know more than just sports. Blue cheese all day with bone-in wings. Now, the fact that there are people out there, because of how much we talk about ranch and blue cheese, and I'm going back and forth with Sawyer Robertson about it yesterday, and those are the things that usually people find fun. So anyway, getting back to the tip show line, usually when something's buzzing, it's in a fun way, right? I don't think we usually play audio where, sure, will we crush someone from time to time? Will we poke fun at someone? But I don't think it's usually done with a malicious intent. At least I don't think it is. Can people interpret that way? Absolutely. But what was going on in the Zach Gelb Show tip line could be the best audio I've ever heard from this network. And it wasn't even on the network, but it was about the network. There is a caller, Mr. Positive. I think it's Greg in Michigan, who's Mr. Positive. He used to call me when I did the overnights. He calls Shep all the time. Sometimes I think he's a guest of Shep Show, if I'm being honest. But he also calls Bart a lot. Like, this dude is a passionate, at the time, CBS Sports Radio, now Infinity Sports Network, just listener and caller. Right? Not everyone calls. Most of the listeners do not call. But there are people that are great listeners that are also great callers. So what you are about to hear, folks, when Samter played this for me in the newsroom, after we were looking at this in the group text, I thought it was AI generated. I didn't think it was real. I thought it was fake news. But it's not. This is on the Chris Cuomo show on News Nation. Listen up.
Next.
Okay, Mr. Positive, I promised him to you tonight. Quickly. You both have 30 seconds combined. Go. Positive, Greg.
All right, I give it to you. What do you got, Mr. Positive?
Brother CC, thanks for taking my call real quick. My buddies at Infinity Sports would love to interview you and have a drink with you, Dave Shepard and Bart Winkler. But I got to ask you, my friend, what is the definition of domestic terrorist and how are they formed?
Oh, my God. There are so many different ways we could go with this. Number one, there is a call that mentions Infinity Sports Network on a News Nation show when they're talking about domestic terrorism. Just think about that sentence. And then Greg in Michigan shouts out the Infinity Sports Network. He shouts out David Shepard and Bart Winkler. Chris Cuomo's looking and saying, huh? Who? What? Where? When? Why? How? And then that was the question asked. And I think maybe the most underrated part is Mr. Positive goes, the guys at the Infinity Sports Network, David Shepard and Bart Winkler, would love to have a drink with you. How does he know that? Could you imagine Shep and Bart with Chris Cuomo? Could you, I don't know how that conversation would go. I don't even know which way politically Chris Cuomo lies these days. I just envision it as Bart's throwing a drink at him and freaking out and crashing out. And Shep is just trying to have those two sit down and have a good conversation. Like, guys, can't we see the best in people? Can't we just hold hands and maybe be friends? You know, it's a good Shep right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Oh, my God. That audio is stunning. I don't usually get stunned. Play that for me again, Stu.
Next.
Okay, Mr. Positive, I promised him to you tonight. Quickly. You both have 30 seconds combined. Go. Positive, Greg.
All right, I give it to you. What do you got, Mr. Positive?
Brother CC, thanks for taking my call real quick. My buddies at Infinity Sports would love to interview you and have a drink with you, Dave Shepard and Bart Winkler. But I got to ask you, my friend, what is the definition of domestic terrorist and how are they formed?
Samter, you've been here since the inception of the network. This network, let me tell you, it is reality TV. You cannot write the script for the fans of this network, for the hosts of this network, the people that run this network. You can't. It is unbelievable. That was not on my bingo card today, Mike. You could have given me 1,000 guesses. You could have got in the air and said, Zach, I have the best audio you ever heard. What is it? Go. We'd be sitting here until my contract's up, until I would be able to get you that answer. And I still don't even think I'd be able to get you that answer. That's amazing.
I'll just say this. The fact that he went straight from Shep into domestic terrorism makes me wonder, maybe we have to start considering Shep's raps as domestic terrorism. Are they that bad? Are they that bad?
I think you're, pun intended, bombing your stand-up comedy routine right now. All right? Jeez, that was rough. Woof, woof.
Just saying.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. I'm stunned. I really am. All righty. So we just talked to Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson. We're back to Bijan Robinson. And we ended the conversation talking about Texas football. I think Texas is beating Oklahoma this weekend. Right now, the spread is 1.5 in favor of Texas. That is Vegas begging me. They're on one knee imploring me, take the dog, take Oklahoma. And maybe that's going to move a little bit because maybe Mateer does play. I still don't think Mateer is going to play. I'll believe it when I'll see it. But that's one of my predictions this weekend, that Texas is going to upset Oklahoma and it will fall in line with the craziness that is this college football season so far, which has just been so wacky. Stu, give me something on this weekend that stands out to you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Florida State. They've obviously they started the season 3-0, a very bright start, but then the back-to-back losses against Virginia and Miami. They are home against Pittsburgh this weekend. Both teams are 3-2. I know Pittsburgh has had that quarterback change and whatnot, but I think Florida State will be the team that is victorious, and they will turn things around.
And let me just phrase this better. This is a team this weekend that needs a win and will get one. I said Texas against Oklahoma. Stu goes with Florida State over Pittsburgh. Sam Tor.
After my comedy career came to a crashing halt.
Womp, womp, womp.
I'm going to go with LSU. They're home against South Carolina. It's not just that they are coming off a bye, which followed their loss to Ole Miss, their first loss of the season. But after South Carolina, they've got at Vandy, home against A&M, at Bama, and then they end the season at Oklahoma. So LSU needs to win this game, and I think they will, especially at home at the quote-unquote real Death Valley, in order to at least get them set up for this gauntlet they're about to go through later on down the stretch.
Do you not think LSU's the real Death Valley? I think LSU's more Death Valley than Clemson.
I mean, I don't know. When I think of Death Valley, I think of Clemson.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you're on an island on that one, or you're just a Clemson fan. You're like Sean, who takes the photos of the Clemson football team as a big listener to the show.
Yeah, secretly I love Dabo, and all the times that you rip on him, I'm just like,
it wouldn't surprise me. You have more teams than I've ever seen anybody. You have more teams than I have mentions on Newsmax.
Let's go, Dabo.
It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Take 5 Wednesday. We get back to the sports next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
Alrighty, hour number 2 of our radio program. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Enjoyed our conversation with Bijan Robinson back about 35 minutes ago. You could always listen back to it on the Odyssey app using the rewind function. We'll get it up on YouTube as well after the show, as we're here across all our great local Infinity Sports Network affiliates, Sirius XM Channel 375, the free Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and also streaming live on YouTube. Jadarian Price from the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They're now ranked 16th in the country. Stu, does that at all surprise you? They're ranking Notre Dame. I know that you're a Notre Dame fan here, that they're 16th in the country because they've had those 2 losses. Now, it's weird to say they're not awful losses because you got to win one of them. But A&M is a heck of a team. And then Miami is right now the second-ranked team in the country. Now, they really haven't beat anybody. This weekend they have NC State. They should win that one. Next weekend is USC, which is always a great, fun game to kind of cover. But I don't think USC is anything special. We know the dealio, and I got crushed for this. When I was at the fight with Canelo and Crawford. And I tweeted out, all right, second loss of the season for Notre Dame. Now they just have to win out. And I said if, not that they would, even though I think they will. If they win out, they'll be in the college football playoff with 2 losses. But kind of seeing them in the AP poll. I know it's different with the college football playoff being 16th after really not beating anybody and having 2 losses. I get it's different. Penn State and Texas, they're both out of the top 25, and they have 2 losses. And you look at Texas, they lost to Ohio State and Florida. And then Penn State, well, it's UCLA. They lost to UCLA. But then before that, they beat Oregon, who I think is the 3rd team in the country. So are you surprised how high up the Irish are?
No, I'm not. I think the fact that they lost to the 2nd and 5th best team in the country by a combined 4 points, one of them on the road, I think is the reason. I don't think it's based on anyone they've beaten. It's just the fact that they lost those 2 games so close. And listen, like if A&M and Miami go on to lose a few games, maybe that changes a bit. But I agree. I think if they run the table, they'll be in.
Have you ever been to Notre Dame?
I have not.
Oh, my God.
I know. I have to at some point.
Now, I did a game there once where Temple played them.
Right.
And I was broadcasting. I think I've told this story before in the air. And Alex Flanagan, remember her? She was doing the sidelines. I had such a crush on her when I was younger. And she walked into our booth by mistake because we had a really good booth. And she said hello, and I was like, like I could not speak. Just verbal diarrhea coming out of my mouth. But anyway, we were WHIP in college. The main station in Philadelphia is WIP. Now, there's also 97.5 The Fanatic. They were the ones doing the game. But the SID at Notre Dame, who's been there 1,000 years, just said, oh, it's WIP in Philadelphia. We'll give them the big professional booth. So I was a college broadcaster calling the game from the 45-yard line at Notre Dame, Temple Notre Dame. Solid first half, and Notre Dame ended up winning in the second half. But that was so cool. I would love to go back to Notre Dame. But I feel like you got to go to Notre Dame. Now, it was a 12 o'clock game, I think, or maybe it was 3:30. I would love to go to a night game at Notre Dame. Now, none of the games really this year moved the needle for USC in 2 weeks, but it's too quick to kind of organize that trip just out of nowhere. But they have NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and Stanford. So maybe we could store that idea for next year. Maybe a show trip to Notre Dame. And I think we have a good relationship with our boss now, David Mayernick. So maybe we could find a way. Maybe not. We could find a way for the company to end up paying for it. That'd be awesome going to South Bend. Maybe we go to Chicago first, fly to Chicago, then drive to South Bend so we could double dip, get a little Chicago, then go to South Bend, Indiana. Does Notre Dame, let's see, future schedule, and then we will get to Take 5 Wednesdays. Jadarian Price from the Notre Dame football team is going to join us coming up about 15 minutes from now. But next year, Notre Dame, oh, wow. Now, it wouldn't be going to South Bend, but they play Wisconsin. I think that's at Lambeau.
Yes, I believe that's at Lambeau. I do remember seeing that.
Yeah, because it says Green Bay, Wisconsin. They play Rice, Michigan State, at Purdue, at UNC. We'll see if Belichick's still the coach by then. Then they play Navy in Foxborough. Then they're at USC. Okay, then they play Miami.
Yeah,
Miami, Notre Dame. Little Catholics versus convicts. That's probably a 7:30 game. That's probably a 7:30 game, right? I would imagine.
I would think so.
Have you never heard that, Santer? Catholics versus convicts? You never heard that?
I maybe, but I
really
don't think so.
That's like so legendary. Yeah.
Wow.
Then they play SMU. We'll see if Rhett Lashley's still their coach. And they're at Florida State and at Syracuse. They have some good games there next year in terms of brand recognition. All righty. Anyway, it is Take 5 Wednesday on the Zach Gelb Show, the Infinity Sports Network. I give you my top 5 teams in college football and the NFL. I'll tell you right now, college was easy peasy for me. The NFL, very tough. Let's get to it right now.
As the dust settles from last week's games, it's time to look at which teams are rising and which are falling.
And there's an interception.
Zach ranks his top 5 NFL and college football teams on this week's edition of Take 5, only on the Zach Gelb Show.
All righty, let's go through college first because I thought college was easy peasy for me. Kalen DeBoer and Alabama, roll tide. That win up against Georgia was awesome, but I was more impressed with what they did up against Vanderbilt because the game against Georgia, they beat Georgia last year. So beating them this year, I'm not saying it's not anything special, but that's expected. Last year, they surprisingly lost to Vanderbilt. Then they avenged the loss. Alabama's got a tough stretch, though, coming up. They're at Missouri this weekend. Then they play Josh Heupel and Joey Aguilar with Tennessee. Then they're at South Carolina, and then they have LSU and Oklahoma before you get Cupcake U in Eastern Illinois coming up on November 22nd. Before then, you get another cupcake in the Iron Bowl now these days with Hugh Freeze and Auburn. So these next 5 games or so, 5 games for Alabama, it's going to define their season. And really, you could only lose one. You know, you could have some 3-loss teams really make a case this year. You get the 3 losses, I don't want to hear from you if you don't get in the college football playoff, but especially that standard now and the criteria change where you look at it and its strength of schedule, the SEC, their schedules this year are just absolutely awesome. And we keep on going through the SEC schedules. We're like, wow, these are some great games now from here on out, besides the one cupcake that they do sandwich in. But I'll put Alabama in at 5. 4, it's A&M. A&M, they beat Notre Dame, then they beat Auburn, and then they just thumped Mississippi State last week. Marcel Reed is a great two-way player. We had him on a few weeks ago. I think they could start running the football actually with him a little bit more than what they do, but they don't really need to right now. You got the 2 good wide receivers there that both transferred over, and Le'Veon Moss, a heck of a running back. I like Elko. I like Elko's vibe, and I think he's also a very good head coach, and we see what his defense is doing as well. So I'll put the Aggies of A&M in at number 4. At number 3, I'm going with the U. It's all about the U. They beat Notre Dame to start the season. Then they beat a top 25 team in South Florida. Then they crushed Florida. And then for the most part, they were just laying it on Florida State before Florida State at the end put lipstick on a pig. One of the best stories in college football this year is Carson Beck and his redemption story. So I'll put the U in at number 3. In at number 2, I'm still going with the Ducks of Oregon. Quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth. I know that you look at their schedule, all right, they blew out Montana State, they blew out Oklahoma State, they blew out Northwestern, they blew out Oregon State. At the time, people thought Penn State was one of the best teams in the country, and they did a good job up against Penn State getting that victory. I know they were off last week, and now they welcome in Kurt Signetti. Google me! And also Fernando Mendoza. I can't wait to see how we're talking about that game coming up on Sunday and leading into Monday with how it plays out on Saturday with the Ducks of Oregon going up against Indiana. So I will put Oregon in at number 2. And then number 1, in order to be the champs, you got to beat the champs. So right now, Ohio State, they are undefeated. They're still the champs. Their wide receivers, Tate is unbelievable. Everyone talks about Jeremiah Smith. Tate is unbelievable, and he's been very good for a while there at 183 receiving yards up against the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. I know they really haven't played anyone besides Texas. Washington was supposed to be a game. It wasn't, but they're undefeated. They're defending national champs. You look at their schedule the rest of the way. They do play Illinois this weekend. It's tough for me to really evaluate Illinois after they got stomped a few weeks ago up against Indiana. I know they bounced back up against USC. Then they play Cupcake U in Wisconsin. Then they play Penn State, who James Franklin sees a big game and he urinates down. It's like, imagine if this is the year James Franklin beats Ohio State after he lost those 2 games already. If you guys both shake your heads, I'm not going to sit here and defend James Franklin. I know that would be the most ironic thing ever, but I'm just saying, imagine if it happened. Then Ohio State plays Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, and they end the year with Ryan Day's worst nightmare. The boogeyman of Michigan. Ooh, Ryan Day, crying Day. Sharon Moore wants to deliver more tears. So that's my Take 5 on a Take 5 Wednesday in college football. Alabama 5, A&M 4, Miami 3, Oregon 2, and Ohio State in at 1. Samter, speak now or forever hold your peace.
You don't have the top-ranked team in the AP poll, Ole Miss.
Top-ranked team in the AP poll?
Top-ranked SEC team. I'm sorry. I apologize.
They're not number 1.
Top-ranked SEC
yesterday,
team.
Stu's telling me Scooball's pitching game 3, and you're now telling me Ole Miss is ranked number 1? What are you guys smoking behind there? What's that stash?
Wow.
Are you getting into Stu's stash?
I mean, do you not sense the cloudiness in here?
No, I don't see it. There's also glass in front of me, so I can't smell anything that goes on in there.
And these walls, I mean, it's like 2-inch or 2-foot thick glass. Like, nothing is escaping here. You talk about a hot box.
Yeah. So I didn't put Ole Miss. That win up against LSU was special. They blew out Tulane. I'm a big fan of Trinidad Chambliss. I'm just waiting to get all in on Ole Miss because I've taken the bait with them before. They got Georgia 2 weeks from now, and Georgia is not what Georgia used to be, and then they followed up with Oklahoma. So LSU's offense really can't do anything right now. So that win, it's a good win. I thought they were going to win. It was my favorite bets of the week that week. But I'm not sitting here and telling you that Ole Miss is deserving of being in the top 5 in my estimation right now. Inside the SEC, I think A&M and Bama, if they played them tomorrow, they would beat them. Now, luckily for Ole Miss, they don't play Alabama this year, and they don't play A&M either, but maybe they could meet in the SEC championship game.
All right, what about Oklahoma at number 6? John Mateer might be coming back for the Red River rivalry.
Yeah, we'll see. They're being very coy in what's going to be his injury status for that. I saw that Brent Venables would not release anything. So there's a chance. You're telling me there's a chance. Michigan, fine team this year. Auburn, nothing really special. I just think they got to play some better opponents. And Mateer's injury, what he's going to be like coming back and how much rust there is to shake off, it's something to monitor. They have a stretch where they play Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, and Missouri, and then LSU to end the season. I just need to see more from Oklahoma. I think they're good. I just don't know if they're great.
What about the team you mentioned before, Fernando Mendoza and Indiana?
They had one of the more impressive wins of the season just in terms of how we thought the teams were pretty even and they just thoroughly dominated them in Illinois. But then yet again, no disrespect to Luke Altmaier and Brett Bielema, it is Illinois. This is the week. Illinois, if they beat Oregon, if they walk into Eugene and they beat the Ducks of Oregon, I could guarantee you this. Indiana will be in my top 5 next week. But they got to do that. This is a big boy week for them, so we'll see if it happens first.
And last one for me, I'm looking at the top-ranked team in the Big 12, Texas Tech.
It's just that they haven't really played anyone. Like, all right, they beat Utah. But when we're talking top 5, and Utah's a good program with Kyle Whittingham now, it's been for a while. But when you just beat Utah, like Alabama has better wins. You look at A&M, better win. Miami, better win. Oregon, better win. Ohio State, they beat Texas at the time. It's just a better win. Like, the Big 12 is good, but they beat up on one another. And I just don't know if there's a great team in the Big 12. So that's where like, Bama beat Georgia. A&M beat Notre Dame. Miami, they beat Notre Dame, and then we just saw what they did to Florida State. Like, Oregon beat Penn State. Ohio State beat Texas. I just don't think even though I like Joey McGuire, and I think that team could definitely win the Big 12, Utah doesn't resonate for me to put them in the top 5 right now. All righty, let's go to the NFL. This, I'll tell you. I knew who I was going to put 1, and then after that, 2, 3, 4, 5, I sat there and I said, humana. I am putting reluctantly in at the 5th spot the 49ers. I didn't want to put the 49ers in there, but what they just did to the Rams with all those injuries and Mac Jones keeps on winning games, I don't know if they're going to be able to sustain it, even though I haven't won in 10, 11 games this year because of how many injuries are piling up. But that was a respect spot last week on Thursday Night Football where I said to myself, I got to put them in the top 5 now, especially with how many teams lost last week. In at number 4, I'm putting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, grit, toughness. Levante David made a nice interception. What was a high-octane offense type of game up against Seattle, and then Baker found a way to get him in field goal range to get the game winner. Baker's playing some unbelievable football right now. I know they just lost to my Pats, but that's Buffalo's first loss on the season. So I'll still put the Bills in at number 3. I do still think they're the preeminent team in the AFC. Eagles, I know that they probably should have lost up against the Rams and they won. And then the Eagles, they were up 17-3. A.J. Brown stopped running or Jalen Hurts overthrew him. Whichever one you want to pick your poison, doesn't matter to me. And they blew a 17-3 lead. That would have ended it. That would have been the kill shot. But they blew that 17-3 lead up against the Denver Broncos. And then in at number 1, they lost their first game of the season against the Packers. They haven't looked back. I put the Detroit Lions in that number 1 spot. So you could disagree with a lot. I can't crush you for it. I put the 49ers 5 for this week, the Bucks 4, the Bills 3, the Eagles 2, and the Lions 1. Sam, to speak now, forever hold your peace.
What about the Steelers with their 1 loss?
Yeah, I think the Steelers are good. I'll tell you, I like the Bills in the AFC still. Outside of that, I just don't think the AFC is as good as the NFC. And you look at a team like the Steelers, all right, they beat the Jets barely by 2. They lost to the Seahawks, who were solid. The Patriots more so lost that game than the Steelers won it, and then you beat Carson Wentz. The Steelers are good. They're going to win the AFC North, but I just don't think they're elite. I don't think they're a team that's top 5 right now in the NFL.
All right, let's look at the AFC West, the Los Angeles Chargers.
No, I would say the Broncos right now over the Chargers because of what the Broncos just did up against the Eagles. But the Chargers, after racing out to a 3-0 start, I know that the Chargers beat the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Broncos. So they beat everyone in the AFC West, but now they're banged up. You got 2 running backs out. You got Joe Alt now injured too, and you just lost to the Giants and the Commanders after you're up 10-0 against the Commanders, and you allowed 27 unanswered. So they got to clean things up. Thankfully for them, they got Miami coming up this weekend. So that should change their fortune.
What about the Colts of Indianapolis?
I sat there, and you know why I didn't put a team. Could we kill 2 birds with 1 stone here?
No.
Well, I'm going to do so anyway.
Fine.
Because it's the Colts and the Jaguars. I sat there and I said, Colts, Jaguars, 49ers. And I sat there and I said, well, the Colts lost to the Rams. The 49ers just beat the Rams. And I look at the Jaguars. Yes, they just beat the Chiefs. But if the Jaguars played the Colts tomorrow, who would I probably pick? The Colts. So by process of elimination of just me not knowing who is, like me just looking at the AFC South and saying, all right, they're good, you know. Maybe they have 2 playoff teams. I just didn't love either one of them, even though I leaned Colts over Jaguars. I ended up going with the 49ers, who have just been more impressive to me with how many injuries they're suffering, and they still only have 1 loss on the season. All righty, Zach Gelb Show, Infinity Sports Network. We'll take a break. When we come on back, Jadarian Price, Notre Dame football running back in that backfield with Jeremiah Love. He had a big touchdown last week, just bulldozing through people. I think he broke through 5 defenders. He's going to join us on the other side.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the Zach Gelb Show.
All righty, we continue coast to coast. It is the Zach Gelb Show. Jadarian Price has had an unbelievable start to his season with Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish are back up to 16th in the country after their victory up against Boise State. They have NC State this upcoming weekend before the next weekend showdown up against USC. And Jadarian is kind enough to join us right now. Jadarian, thanks for the time. How you been?
I've been great, man. You know how the season is, busy, long hours, but it's an honor to be at this university.
Well, let me start you off because I know it's an honor to always find the end zone. My, oh my, what a touchdown run that was last weekend. 49 yards, bulldozing through defenders. Just kind of take me through it.
Yeah, Boise State was a very tough defense. They didn't flinch one bit. They brought the safeties down a lot, and they knew we were running the ball. But it was just one of those games where, the early on in the season, we've had a lot of explosive plays first, second quarter, but this game, it took, to the second half to where we really got, a play of over 20 yards on the ground. So that's just one of those games where you got to keep going, keep fighting, and it'll show sooner or later.
I don't know how you do with comparisons, but when I was watching that game live and I saw you on that touchdown run, I said to myself, am I watching Ashton Genty? And maybe Boise State was on my mind, but that's what I thought. When you hear that, how do you kind of react to it?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely one of those runs. Ashton Genty had a lot of those last season, but I knew I was capable of something like that, and that just, goes to what I do in the off season and what I've been doing in practice. And off season wise, just focusing on contact balance and things like that, and finishing. That's what we do pretty well in the running back room.
Well, you're such an explosive player, and you're a well-rounded player. We saw that up against Purdue in that unbelievable game that you had. Take me through those emotions, though, when you take the ball the entire distance of the field and you have a 100-yard kickoff return.
Yeah, so from that 100-yard kickoff return compared to the one I had 2 years ago, I will say my stamina has increased because 2 years ago against USC, I feel like I was dying and legs, hamstrings were tight. And but after this one, I was like, oh, I'm feeling better. So that was the biggest difference that I noticed is my body actually can maintain. My body has the capacity to, maintain such a rigorous, game and a lot of carries and, the distance that I ran. So that's the one thing I'm most proud of.
That's a nice humble brag when you could say, oh, I've had 2 of those returns for 100-something yards. That's a nice feeling, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Jadarian Price here with us. So I've been seeing this nickname for you and Jeremiah Love for Malik Zaire. Price of Love? Are we rocking and rolling with the nickname these days?
I've seen a lot of that lately. People trying to come up with nicknames. I think it's pretty cool, just get our names buzzing and and get people talking. But I don't know. I'm a creative individual, but I can't think of a good one off the top of my head. I think that's something that me and Jeremiah will leave to the fans and everyone else for sure.
Just get the T-shirts going, right, in this
Yeah.
NIL era. There's no doubt about that. Jeremiah Love, he came on with us last year. He was so impressive. We've seen what he's been able to do on the football field the last few seasons. You being same age, in that running back room, sharing the same journey, what are you able to kind of learn from your teammate?
The one thing I've learned from Jeremiah, and I've said this a couple times in a lot of other interviews, is the way he approaches the game. He truly loves the game of football, and that me being his roommate on the road when we stay in the hotels and stuff, like he's watching film the night before the game, deciding, oh, what am I going to do? What move am I going to do in the open field against? And I sat there and watched the process off the field of, his talent. I mean, he's more athletic than anybody I've ever seen, but just, the time and effort he puts into this game because he loves it is truly unbelievable. But also just what I've really learned from him is, at the end of the day, this is a game and you got to play like that, just like when we were kids scoring 4 touchdowns in a game. Doesn't mean you can't do it in college, and just going out there and having fun and trusting your instincts really is what I learned a lot.
How is he as a roommate? When you guys are on the road, is he a clean roommate?
Yeah, he's a clean individual. Jeremiah, yeah, he's very OCD, and I think we're similar in that way too. Just very clean and like things a certain way. So
Jadarian Price here with us. So it's so interesting when you have two young guys, right, playing at Notre Dame at such a high level. There's only one football, but I know how competitive both you guys are. I'm assuming that competition with you guys in the same running back room creates a healthy competition to try to, in a fun way, one up one another and get the best version out of each other, right?
yeah, at the end of the day, either one of us that scores is not our touchdown; it's the team's touchdown. And as long as whoever scores, whoever's doing, the work, understands that and understands that it takes all 11 guys on the field to get that accomplished. There's only so many more that will happen, because everyone's believing in you, whether it's the lineman blocking, to the quarterback handing you the ball, to the receivers blocking on the perimeter, which they've done a great job of doing this season. All the work that me and Jeremiah does, you know, it's a testament to all, to 10 other teammates on the field who are doing the job of really, they're 111th and, continue, even though the average play is 5 seconds, it can turn into 8-10 seconds with me and Jalen running. So you never know. And that's just, I'm really proud of the way my teammates have really, been out with us on the way and just holding our backs for real.
I'll get to some of your teammates in a bit as Jadarian Price is here with us with the Notre Dame football team. What is one thing, though? Like, if you could steal one thing from Jeremiah Love's game and implement it into your game, if you had that ability, what would be the one thing you'd take from him?
He's, I guess the biggest one would be his ability to hurdle. I think I'll tell you what, not many people can do that and also do that and stay on their feet. So that is, I know a lot of people nowadays try to hurdle, but to be able to hurdle and stay on your feet and create yards after contact once you land and run into the next person, that's unbelievable. And I think that'd be pretty nice to add, I guess.
It's so crazy. Like, just watching it's almost like breathing for him when you look at hurdling. He does it in just such an effortlessly fashion. It's now when I see it, I go, oh, yeah, that's cool, but that's Jeremiah Love. That's what he does, right?
Yeah, it's all about being a fearless player, fearless competitor, not being afraid to do what you're born to do, what your talent gives you the ability to do. So that's just who he is as a competitor and who he is as a person.
All righty, let me get to CJ Carr, your quarterback. How good do you think he could be? Because what I've seen so far, I've been impressed, and I feel like there's a different level he could take his game to. But, man, it seems like you guys got a special young quarterback there at Notre Dame.
So we've known he was special since the summer, just the way he carries himself, the way he leads, and his talent and his competitiveness on the field. I haven't seen many, quarterbacks talk trash to a defense like that in my life. And that just shows you he has so much confidence in himself to make it and back it up too. It's all friendly like trash talk with our defense every day, but to be able to back it up every single rep and have that confidence is what we really like to see. Um, but yeah, and what 6 games in, we've really seen, this side of CJ that's has so much more potential as well. But um, we're glad to have a quarterback like him just being able to lead us and be competitive.
When you look at your defense, what direction do you think they're headed into? What do you think going up against your defense in practice that they could be as the season continues to progress?
I think we have some of the biggest playmakers in college football, from our linebackers to our secondary, and our defensive line. I mean, those guys, Jason Onye, like guys like that can just throw you with one hand. But yeah, I mean, we go against our linebackers every day, and those guys, I'll tell you what, they're strong, they're fast, they're twitchy, and yeah, guys like Leonard Moore who just can, be careful throwing the ball his way. And I think it starts with the players, we have a lot of playmakers, but they're also smart individuals, and I learn a lot from them as well. Don Shula is one of the smartest football players I've been around. He's also the captain of the team, and I think it helps that we have, a couple captains on the defensive side and then a couple on the offensive side because we come together and we try to, be the best we can be.
Yeah, and I know people don't want to hear excuses, but I think it is a testament to what this guy meant to the university. You guys have so much talent on the defensive side of the ball, but I think people have to remember, this is a defense that has lost Xavier Watts to the NFL, and he was a player for you guys for the last few years who not only was one of the best players on Notre Dame's team, he was one of the best players in the country, period. So I think when you lose a player to that magnitude, it takes a little bit of an adjustment to really get things going.
Yeah, you see what he's done at the NFL level as a rookie, so that just shows you how good he actually was in college. He's doing it at the NFL level too. But yeah, it sucks to lose guys like that, but we've got so much talent. Like our team is so young, but it's so talented and has so much room to develop, and that's really exciting to see, for the future of Notre Dame.
Also, with how your season started, we know what happened last year with NIU, and then you guys won out and you made it all the way to the national championship game. This year, you had the two tough losses, the two very good teams in Notre Dame. To Miami and then A&M. And now you guys are back in that mode of, okay, Notre Dame's got to win out again. Since you were in that spot last year, is there a comfortability knowing that you guys were able to do it last year, that you're capable of doing it once again this year to get back to the CFP?
There's really not comfortability with that just because anything can happen. If you're not prepared, in this day and age in college football, anybody can beat you. But also, we know if we prepare the right way, we can beat anybody. So that's just our mindset going forward, is being 1-0 every week and just trying to elevate.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll ask you, I know you guys got NC State this upcoming weekend, then after that, it's USC, and that's always a big game. Us college football fans, we love when USC goes up against Notre Dame. For your game, you do so many different things. We see the way you run the football. We see you on the returns. How much of an emphasis maybe goes into your mind about maybe catching the ball a little bit more out of the backfield and really making yourself an all-around complete player like we think you could be capable of?
Yeah, first we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and see how we can elevate each and every day, because that's only going to make the team better overall. But we just got to, go out there and handle business and beat NC State this week. And like you said, USC the week after that, that'll be exciting. But as we're talking right now, I can't wait to get out there in 2 hours and elevate my game, whether it's catching out of the backfield or doing whatever.
Well,
practice.
Enjoy practice. Enjoy the rest of the season. Good luck and good health. I really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you.
There you go. Jadarian Price from the Notre Dame football team joining us on the Zach Gelb Show. Still to come at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We do have a show announcement today at 5:20 p.m. Eastern time. Brett Myers, the World Series champion with the Philadelphia Phillies, is going to stop by. But we come on back. We touched on this a little bit today. Let's fully delve into it. We know DeMarcado dropped the ball before scoring the touchdown. Jonathan Gannon yelled at him on the sideline. Last night, when I'm walking home, and I read that he got a $100,000 fine, Jonathan Gannon, I thought it was a fake tweet. I really did. Now, we know Samter literally almost lost his mind on the air. I thought Samter was going to pop him. We were going to have to, rush him to a hospital when he was flipping out on Monday, giving DeMarcado a dud. It was just ugly. We will get to Samter's reaction to this, and usually Stu will be more mellow, but Stu usually does have a strong take on it. He will give us his thoughts as well. So, show announcement at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Brett Myers at 5:20 p.m. Eastern Time. But we talk about the soft Arizona Cardinals next. Update time first. Here's the Act Man, Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network, Sports Flash.
And it's sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Last time I tell a joke before the update starts. The Bengals
Turn the mic on next time, Mac. That was great.
The Bengals are throwing Joe Flacco right into the fire a day after acquiring the veteran quarterback. They announced he'll start Sunday against the Packers, looking for a second win against Green Bay in 3 weeks. Lamar Jackson's status for Sunday is not promising because of a hamstring injury. He did not practice today. The division series continued today. All four series, in fact. And right now, in the bottom of the fifth in Detroit, the Mariners, going for back-to-back wins, lead the Tigers 3-0. Cal Raleigh just extending the lead with an RBI single. The Dodgers will host the Phillies in the final game of the day. The Phils dropped both games 1 and 2 at home and now have to win back-to-back games on the road against the defending champs just to force a trip back home. The Yankees will also try to stay alive tonight, fighting off elimination last night. They'll host the Blue Jays down 2-1. And the Vegas Golden Knights have signed Jack Eichel to an 8-year extension. I'm Rich Ackerman.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
This Thursday night football preview is sponsored by Square. More than 4 million neighborhood businesses run on Square. To learn more, go to square.com or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square. Big next few days for you, boy. Because tomorrow night I will be in the swamps of Jersey at MetLife Stadium as the Eagles do travel to MetLife to take on the New York Giants. Then Monday, I'm going to be doing the show in Atlanta. We will see the Falcons and the Bills. But right now, Philly's 4-1 in the year. They're coming off their first loss of the season, and they did lose that game to the Broncos. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown had their whole meeting. They can't stand one another right now. The Giants are 1-4, but are 1-1 since turning to Jackson Dart at QB, who has 4 total touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Obviously, the Giants, they beat the Chargers in Dart's first start, and then they lost to the New Orleans Saints. Who dat? Who dat? Who dat say they're going to beat them Saints? All righty. You guys don't know. Sam turns to. I thought it was on the air. It was not on the air. So I'm going to the break, and I'm tossing to the update to Richard Ackerman, and I say, the Arizona Cardinals, they are so soft. Something like that. And then he goes, this update is brought to you by so-and-so. They're as soft as Samter's belly. And I heard that, and I start laughing. That's what Ack said. And I look up, and I go, oh, the on-air, because they give you a 5-second jingle before we go to Ack. I go, the on-air button is not on, so that wasn't on the air. I start laughing. Ack starts laughing, and Ack is laughing it up through an update. Samter, Ack calling your belly soft? What happened?
I mean, that's a low blow. Where'd that come from?
Number one, I don't know. Number two, I didn't think Ack had that in him. I didn't really. This is the most impressed I've been with Ack since he did the Marv Albert impression. Remember? You're like, yes, from downtown. But he went right after your belly. He said the Cardinals are as soft as your belly, your little belly.
I mean, I got a little bit of a gut, but is it really?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna go home and just hit the gym.
I mean, you know what?
For like 3 straight days. You're not seeing me tomorrow. I'll just be at the gym all day.
Can you do me a favor, actually? Can we make a headline out of this? Can you go, like, smack Ack in the face, and then we get an awful announcing headline tomorrow? Radio producer punches update anchor in the face over over a little argument? Have a little kerfuffle going between Samter and Ack? You in?
I feel like Ack
Get
is
angry.
the,
Going after your
Ack is
belly.
the litigious type.
Yeah, he would sue you.
Yeah.
And he's tight with the union, Ack.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying. I think Ack would be lawyered up in a second.
Yeah,
And that would be like assaulting a senior citizen, too, so that's probably not good either.
Fran Drescher would be here in a second.
Yeah. I don't think she is the union president anymore.
I saw that Sean Astin was running.
Who?
You don't know who Sean Astin is?
Who?
Sean Astin, he's Rudy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's Samwise Gamgee's. He's Rudy.
Yeah. I know him.
Yeah, Goonies.
Yeah.
Sean Astin.
So he could be the next SAG-AFTRA president, our union representative?
Could be.
Rudy. I probably shouldn't say this about my own union. They send me so many emails to vote on these elections. And I never do so. I know it's probably not the right thing to say, but I've never felt compelled to vote on who the union president is. Now, the union's great. I'm very happy to be in the union, but I've never voted on who the union president is.
I will say, I'm a little bit behind the times because I did vote, and Sean Astin won with 79.25% of the vote.
He's
our
our
new
pres?
president. Yeah.
He's my president?
Rudy.
All righty. Jonathan Gannon. I don't get it. I just really don't. The Arizona Cardinals, have fined him $100,000 for what? And you know what? Can I just lecture people on social media? How soft have we become as a society? Oh, you can't put your hands on someone else. It was a coach who, is on the hot seat. His team is dominating a bleep poor football team. The game is over. You had a nice rushing touchdown. You just simply, especially after the previous week, Adonai Mitchell just did it with the Colts. You simply just walk into the end zone, and then you drop the ball, and then you celebrate. So you dropped it before. What is the coach supposed to do? Oh, DeMarcado, everything's all right. You're all right. I'll slap you in the behind. Does that get him fined now? Oh, my God. They blew the game because of that. I know it's not the sole reason why they lost, but that started the catastrophic fall of the Cardinals on Sunday. And this coach is angry. He's animated on the sidelines, and he just bumps the player. Why did Andy Reid get fined $100,000 a few weeks ago when he bumped Taylor Swift's boyfriend and Travis Kelce? And now there's a song about Travis Kelce's, his Johnson on that new album.
Wood.
It's called Wood. And it's song number, you want the lingo? The Swiftie lingo? It's song number 9. So they think it's 9 inches, by the way. That's been the speculation in the Swiftie world. But anyway, this coach freaks out, loses his mind. He didn't grab the player by the face mask. He didn't punch the player in the face. He basically just bumped him. It was, hey, get your head out of your ass. And now this coach is getting fined $100,000 for what? And I got people on social media, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can't bump him. Oh, what about player safety? Well, they're acting as if what this guy did was a crime. What, do we have a caller calling earlier and say they should charge him with assault? Oh, what is that, an Adam Schefter joke? Assault. We've seen worse. I've seen Myles Garrett smack a player over the cabeza with the helmet. I can't believe. What is this, the Putty Cat League? How soft is this league? That now we're fining a coach $100,000 for basically telling a player, get your head out of your ass, and you bump him a little bit with your chest. What are we doing? What world are we living in? And it's not the NFL fight. It's not like it was Roger Goodell. It was the Cardinals. All the things the Cardinals have gotten away. Oh, you know what? Jonathan Gannon, how dare you bump a player? And now the player's the victim? And Jonathan Gannon's like an a-hole? Get out of here. This is absurd. Just when you think the NFL, they do some dumb things. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. You know what? One word will go around the room here to describe this fine of $100,000 to Jonathan Gannon. Soft. Soft. And as Zach would say, soft as Santa's tummy. No, I kid. Soft. That's what I think. This is one of the softest things I've ever seen. Stu, what's your word?
Lame.
Lame's good word. Lame's a good word. It is lame. It's soft and it's lame. Can we go 3 for 3? Can we get a trifecta out of Santa? We're going to get a good word here.
Millennial?
Oh. Is that even right here in this regard?
Gen Z?
Isn't millennial right? The last millennial, it's 1997?
Yeah, millennials are kind of known to be, a little bit
DeMercado
sensitive.
was born in 1999. I'm never good with the generations. Generation, classification, let's see. Wouldn't that be a Gen Zer? Yeah, it's a Gen Zer.
Same thing.
So, a Gen
I think they're all the
Zer.
same.
How stupid is this? I'm sorry. Not that he needs it. We should start a GoFundMe page for Jonathan Gannon. We all know he could afford it. But the fact that this guy is now going to have to pay $100,000, and you know what? Shame on Jonathan Gannon. How much of a putty cat are you? Oh, I apologize. Oh, I apologize. Oh, I look back at the tape. I didn't handle things correctly. Shut up. Oh, my God. You know what? This organization just emasculated their head coach. This coach has no balls. He doesn't. His cojones are gone, chopped off, snipped. You're going to apologize for this. If they made me apologize for that, I'd tell them to go bleep all. I'd say fire me. I would say fire me. Apology for a player acting like a dope, dropping a ball before he has an easy touchdown, and then it's not as if the coach crossed the line. If he punched the player in the face, okay. If he grabbed the player by the face mask and dragged him out to the 30-yard line, okay, different. He slightly bumped him. And I got the outrage crowd on social media. Oh, you can't do that. Shut up. See, like, you're a loser if you have a problem with this. You're a loser and then some. Yeah, big fat loser if you got an issue with this. Soft, 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 lame, lame, lame. And then we'll do Santers. Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. When we come on back, we have a show announcement. We usually don't do these, but we got a show announcement next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
Alrighty, hour number 3 of our radio program. That's right, it is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Fun show so far today. Bijan Robinson joining us of the Atlanta Falcons. Jadarian Price of the Notre Dame football team. Brett Myers still to come in about 20 minutes from now. But we've been teasing a show announcement today. And I usually don't like to tease a show announcement, but we'll get to it right now. And that announcement is this. On Friday of last week, before we were doing the show and getting ready to do the show, I got approached in the newsroom. And I got approached in the newsroom by a friend of the radio program in Ryan Hot Take Hickey. And he looked very nervous, extremely nervous. And he came up to me and he said, Z-Man, do you have a second? So I said, okay, yeah, what's going on, Ryan? He goes, I got to be honest with you. He goes, I can't do the show anymore. And I said to myself, what do you mean you can't do the show anymore? And he said, it's kind of funny, actually. I take Penn State and the losses very personally. I have to rehash them with you each and every week. And it's not really going my way. And I just feel as if I'm becoming the butt of the joke is basically what Ryan was surmising here. So I said, no hard feelings. You are sure about this? You don't want to come on the show each and every week. And he said he does not. So that's the show announcement, usually on Wednesdays. And there's more to this announcement that we'll get to in a few seconds. Usually on Wednesdays, Ryan Hot Take Hickey joins us at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time. Because of how pathetic Penn State is, he is now no longer going to be joining us. I was a little bit taken aback by it. I was a little bit surprised by it. Ryan and I obviously have a very good working relationship. He was my producer for 3 years. When I got moved to this time slot at 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, nothing against Stu and Samter, obviously. They're two of the best in the business, but it's to their credit because of the fact that they are so accomplished and established already in this time slot. There's a lot of times if the producer's not good or if the board op's not good, they'll say to the host, oh, you're moving from one time slot. Do you want to bring your people over? That was never offered to me because of the fact that Samter does a great job and Stu does a great job. So when that happened, because of the listeners' love for Hickey and, right, our banter and our fun banter that we built on the 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time show, and I thank Ryan, obviously, for those years, I said I still want to get Ryan involved in the show in some capacity. And I have a lot of respect for Hickey's NFL and college football opinions, even though a lot of times they're wrong. But I have a lot of respect for his research and his passion. And that's why I said, oh, why don't you join me each and every Wednesday at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time? Ryan and I have known each other a long time. I'll never forget the day where Ryan was sitting in the newsroom as we were getting ready for the 6 p.m. Eastern Time show. We were just talking about the future of the business, and we were talking about what he wants to do. And I asked him, like, what do you want to do? And he goes, I want to be a host. And I said to yourself, well, like, no one's just going to walk up to you and be like, hey, here's a show. I said, go into management, tell him you want to do a show on the weekends, pitch him an idea, and he ended up doing that, and he's had a very successful weekend show. So he's still going to be with Bill Reiter, obviously. That's his full-time gig. And he's going to be Bill Reiter's producer. He just won't be appearing on the show anymore because I guess he can't take the Hickey Hex for all those wrong predictions. So it's a fitting end, I guess, to the Zach Gelb, Ryan Hickey relationship on the Infinity Sports Network. I still see Ryan every day. I saw him today. I wish him nothing but the best. I can't force someone to do the show. I think Ryan has a very bright career ahead of him. Personally, I think it's a bad career decision. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's something that derails his career, but I do believe when you aren't a full-time talk show host and a Monday through Friday host is giving you a platform on their show, you should take it every time. Like there was times here when I would go on with D.A. and Marash when I was part-time and get destroyed on the air, but I always think that's good. So nothing against Ryan. Ryan's going to be a friend, always be a friend. I always appreciate our working relationship, but there will be no more Hot Take Hickey Wednesdays on this show. Now, if that was just the announcement, that would be a lame, pathetic, ridiculous announcement. Because that's not fair to the listening audience to tease that for a while. We may have improved the segment. We may have improved the hair even on the segment. Because we were supposed to do this today at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time. Since Bijan Robinson was joining us at 3:15, I reached out to who's going to be replacing Hickey on this Wednesday at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time slot. And that person told me when I said, okay, I don't want to do 3:40 this week because we got Bijan and it's too close to guess and all that stuff. I said, how about 4 o'clock? And this person said, well, I have a haircut appointment at 4 o'clock. So hair's a big standard to do this show. So we do have a little audio piece to introduce who will take over the Ryan Hickey slot here on the Zach Gelb Show for the Wednesday at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time interview. And let's get to that right now.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that.
Move over, Hot Take Hickey.
See ya.
You've been kicked off the show.
Bye-bye. See you later.
And now replacing you is Pat Boyle.
So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife.
And maybe one day we'll call him Bad Take Boyle. So let's get this segment started, only on the Zach Gelb Show.
Let's get it
That's right. Every Wednesday at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time, the overnight host, Pat Boyle, who is a Notre Dame fan, and he's an apologist for a lot of other teams, is going to be joining us each and every Wednesday at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time. Patty Boyle, how are you?
Hey, what's up,
Are you
Zach?
eating?
What? I was eating, yes.
What are
I'm
you eating right now? You're about to be on the air with us, and you're shoving a sandwich down your throat?
Sorry, Zach. I have a life. I'm going to be working out after this, so I have a workout class to promptly get to. I had a quick breakfast this morning. As you know, I sleep in the middle of the day because of the overnight hours, so I figured I got to get my protein in. And I had a little yogurt with some berries, some nuts, some fruit. So I chowed that down, while you rambled on for 4 or 5 minutes about what's going on here. And then we had a nice little pre-produced piece. So, yes, I just finished eating, and now I'm ready to go. That was nice, man. I am incredibly excited, though, to be with you every week here, brother. This is it's truly an honor to be with you every week.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. And when Hickey told me that he didn't want to do the show anymore, I said, all right, let's try to get Pat Boyle on. That would be fun. Because I know Pat Boyle has thick skin. I know he will throw some shots. I will definitely throw some shots back at him, and it will be fun. And for people that don't know, obviously, you know that Pat Boyle is the overnight host from 2 to 6 a.m. Eastern Time, and you can hear him on many of these same stations. I've been going on each and every week with Pat doing a produced segment, doing NFL picks, and I'm not good at math. How many games up am I on you, by the way? Just wondering.
As of now, you're up by 4. You're up by 4. I will say the picks that I've done with you have been brutal.
They have been.
Brutal. But for anybody that listens to the Pat Boyle Show, do PB picks at the end of every show, me and Bilotti, and those picks are hitting at an unbelievable clip. So I don't know what to do. Fade the picks I give with you every week, but tail the other ones. But yes, you are kicking my ass right now up and down the aisle so far in our picks competition.
So let's get to a little football here, because that's what we'll be talking about most of these weeks. There's a report right now from Ollie Connolly, who was all over originally Bill Belichick going to UNC. Bill Belichick has already discussed a buyout option with UNC's hierarchy. Per Ollie Connolly, he signaled a willingness to trigger the $1 million buyout if he could find a soft landing spot with another team or in the media. More from Ollie right now as I go to his Twitter page. From one UNC defensive assistant, quote, "What we've done to these kids is bleeped up." Belichick communication with the staff in the past 2 weeks has been described as weird and distant by multiple members of UNC's coaching staff. Multiple coaches were unable to get hold of him during UNC's bye week. And that's the latest right now on Bill Belichick and the UNC situation. You know what this is starting to remind me of, Pat? This is the college football version of Urban Meyer with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a legendary coach being somewhere where he shouldn't be. At least for Urban Meyer was going to the NFL. Okay, I can live with this. Bill going down to college, to me, has always been pathetic, and I don't even know I don't know where this is going to go, but where there's smoke, there's a fire. And part of me at first says, oh, Belichick was a jerk to the media for all those years, so maybe that this is just the media kind of getting back at him. But Ollie's reporting is very specific. I don't know if he's going to give up before the end of the season, but at this rate, if Bill Belichick's back next year at UNC, I would not have said this yesterday. I'd almost be surprised at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the only difference between him and Urban Meyer is he's getting lap dances from his girlfriend that is 49 years younger than him, and I guess it's okay, right? It's not at a Hooters on a Thursday night when his team lost and he should have been on the team jet, and instead he decided to hang back and get a lap dance at a local restaurant where everybody could see him. But but other than that, it's been a complete and utter, and he hasn't kicked his kicker to the point that we know. Other than that, it's been a complete and utter disaster, Zach. I mean, he had no business being here. And it just goes to show you all the different coaches that went from the NFL to the college football to try to make the 33rd team. And how about Lombardi?
Don't get me started. Lombardi is one of the biggest jackasses I've ever met. Mike Lombardi is a pompous douche. There's no other way for me to put it. I can't say it. I can't even be any nicer or meaner or whatever. This guy is so arrogant. He acts as if he invents football. He treats so many people like crap. And the fact that this guy, where's he? Where is Lombardi? I want to hear, that's a guy. Belichick, you're a legend. Belichick, 6 years from now, just like how no one gives a rat's ass about Urban Meyer with the Jacksonville Jaguars, no one's going to bring this up in the legacy of Bill Belichick. They're going to say he's one of the greatest coaches of all time for what he did in the NFL. But that guy Lombardi, I want to hear from him because he was peacocking around on all these shows how great UNC is going to be, and it may not even last the full season.
Sounds like Mike Lombardi turned down an interview request on the Zach Gelb Show.
No, he was on the Zach Gelb Show. This was at Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. And after 6 minutes, he's like, "You're wearing me out. I got to go." And I refused to put him on ever since. I've been pitched Mike Lombardi so many times, and you could pay me, but I wouldn't put him on. Yeah, he is. It's just, I can't stand that SOB. And he stinks.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he stinks at his job.
Yeah, for all the Belichick haters and the Lombardi haters, I mean, they're getting their comeuppance every single week. I mean, they have been bludgeoned by a very underperforming Clemson team this year, UCF, and they got destroyed on national TV on Labor Day against TCU. You should have known right there how this season was going to pan out.
And they scored a touchdown right out of the gate. They did.
Yeah, and it looked good. And then it has gone completely down the skid since. I mean, the reporting from WRAL, the TV station in Raleigh, that he is unapproachable. You're getting preferential treatment for some students, from some players and their families. It has been an utter disaster. It could not have gone worse than it has. Hulu and Hard Knocks scrapping the planned, production stuff they had going on for this team. UNC, Bubba Cunningham needs to save Bill Belichick from himself at this point and end this thing at the end of the season. There is no circumstance in which he should return next year, and nor should he ever be a college football coach again. NIL, transfer portal, doesn't matter what era of college football we are in. This was almost never going to work with Bill Belichick. It is time to move on and cut your losses.
Bad take, fine take, or great take? I think Texas beats Oklahoma this weekend in Red River.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised, as bad as Arch Manning has been. And boy, I mean, you want to talk about things that we were, like how wrong could we have been as a general public of college football fans? Arch Manning being as terrible as he's been, did not have that on my bingo card. But Texas still has a really good defense, and it is the Red River rivalry, right? Oklahoma feels like they won a ton of games they had no business winning in the years past. So now for Texas to flip the script, I think that's a great take, Zach. I don't know if I'll be putting actual U.S. currency on it, but I would not be shocked in the slightest if Arch Manning has the game of his season against Oklahoma.
Okay, NFL-wise, you know me. I like to tease you when you get predictions wrong, just like as you like to tease me too. You said the Jets were going to make the playoffs this year, and you basically called Drake May a bum after week 1. Do you still do those videos during the games where you're like yelling into the camera with the glasses and the TV in the background? Because I like that week 1. You gave us a lot of material. What do you have to say about the Jets? And then how about what you saw about Drake May on Sunday Night Football?
Well, I just will say, hopefully, the YouTube videos are rolling this Sunday, because I will be filling in for our buddy Anthony Gallo. I'll be returning to Gridiron Game Day this upcoming Sunday to do 8 hours of football. So hopefully the cameras will be rolling. I won't have to record while I've got the TV on in the background, but I will be sure to give you some material, Zach, in the weeks coming. Yeah, look, I'm dead wrong on the Jets. I won't say I was dead wrong on Justin Fields. I think he has been one of the few bright spots on this team. Look, he had one bad game. He had one bad game against Buffalo, and he got hurt during, and he got concussed. Week 1 against the Steelers,
what about the Cowboys?
He was great.
Did he just fail to show up in the first half against the Cowboys?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was one bad half of football, and then when they got down, he played great.
Garbage.
He didn't turn the ball over, right? I know he missed a lot of throws in the first half. He didn't turn the ball over, and he's been throwing for an average of like 250, 275 yards a game, and he's barely turned the ball over this year. He's not the problem. It's this defense, this putrid, atrocious defense that just a couple of years ago called themselves the 85 or 86 Bears, and Sauce Gardner continues to get worse, and he's getting flagged and crying, "Oh, I get flagged and the NFL hates us because we're losing." No, you suck. That's why you're losing. You're a pathetic excuse of a defense, and I like Aaron Glenn, and I think that, look, let's not condemn this thing before it gets off the tracks here. Remember, Dan Campbell was 0-11 in his first year. 0-11. I like Aaron Glenn. But to then say you're going to change the way things have been and the team's committing double-digit penalties per game, they can't cover and they can't tackle, that better start turning around real quick. Or it's going to be same old Jets. That's why people say it. So, yeah, I was dead wrong about the team. I thought the defense would actually be somewhat respectful. They haven't been. But I think Justin Fields has looked pretty darn okay so far this point of the season. And then on Drake May, he had the game of his – I wouldn't say the game of his life, but he played great on Sunday. He made all the big throws he needed to make. I still think there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of highs and lows in his game. And the turnovers, I think, are going to continue to be an issue. But I don't think the Patriots will be a playoff team, but I think they'll be in the mix up until the final 2-3 weeks.
He is Pat Boyle. He'll be joining us each and every Wednesday, we think, on the Infinity Sports Network until he gets annoyed and then leaves me as well, right at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can listen to him tonight from 2 to 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Yes, Patty.
I'll be here. I'll be here every week. I'll be here no matter how terrible Notre Dame gets off to an 0-2 start every single year. They'll probably find a way to still back their way into the college football playoff this year. If the Knicks lose in the Eastern Conference Finals again and I want to rip my hair out of my head, I'll still be here, brother. I'll still be here. I don't skip the podium. You know that.
There we go. The great Pat Boyle joining us each and every Wednesday right here on the Infinity Sports Network on the Zach Gelb Show. We'll take a timeout. Brett Myers is going to join us on the other side, the World Series champion with the Philadelphia Phillies. Good stuff right there. Excited to have Pat on the show each and every Wednesday at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time. Take a timeout. Come on back after these short messages.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Zach Gelb Show.
All right, it is the Zach Gelb Show right here on the Infinity Sports Network. We got 4 games today in postseason baseball. Tigers are up 7-3 up against the Mariners, end of the 6th. We're trying to see if the Tigers could force a Game 5. If they do, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, a Screwball will be on the mound, and that is something I would like to see. Brewers and Cubs are all tied up at 1 in the bottom of the 1st. The Cubs are down 0-2 in this series tonight. At the big ballpark in the Bronx, the Yankees, who avoided elimination last night, will try to do so again tonight. They're down 2-1 to the Toronto Blue Jays, and Phillies and Dodgers getting ready at 9:08 p.m. Eastern time. The Phillies dropped the first 2 in Philadelphia. Dodgers just need one more victory, and now they go back home. Perfect Games 27th Annual WWBA World Championship is taking place in Jupiter, Florida this weekend. Brett Myers will be coaching his son's team as well as acting as a PG ambassador. Thursday's tripleheader is airing on Perfect Game TV and the free PGTV app, featuring phenom pitcher Striker Pence, the 15-year-old nephew of Hunter Pence, who throws 100 miles per hour in the 12:45 p.m. game on PGTV. And now joining us is former Philadelphia Phillies pitcher, did win a World Series championship with the organization, and that, of course, is Brett Myers. Brett, appreciate the time. Thanks so much. How are you?
No problem. I'm doing good. Driving down to Jupiter now.
Well, hey, we appreciate you coming on, and good luck with the entire event. A 15-year-old throwing 100 miles per hour. What were you like when you were 15 years old, and how fast were you throwing?
Well, I couldn't tell you. I don't know if they had radar guns that long ago. I was just hoping to throw it over the plate. I think that's what a lot of people misconstrue with the mile an hour these days. I think that they worry about too much of that instead of throwing strikes. Now, if you're throwing 100 miles an hour for strikes, I think that's pretty impressive, Bill.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. When I just read that, I had to look twice, and I thought that maybe my producers gave me the wrong information, but 100 miles per hour at the age of 15 is pretty damn cool. Let me start you off with the Phillies. I know they're down 0-2, right? Everything, there's not looking like there's a lot of hope, especially with the team they're going up against. You know the good and the bad playing in Philadelphia. Nick Castellanos after the game said, quote, "The stadium is alive on both sides, right? When the game is going good, it's a win at our back, right? But when a game is not going good, it's a wind in our face. So the environment can be with us and the environment can be against us." What did you make of Castellanos' comments, just being someone that has seen the good and the bad in Philadelphia?
Well, I did see that, and I the first thing I thought was that, like, the wrong people you want to have on your side as the Philly fan. So I mean, that's tough. I mean, maybe you could misconstrue how he meant that and stuff like that, or how it was written. I don't know, but I mean, definitely, if you're not playing up to the standards in Philadelphia, they're going to let you have it a little bit because they expect better out of you, and it's however you respond to that is up to you, obviously. But what happened to me when they would boo me, or I would go out to have some dinner afterwards or something like that, and they would tell me that I sucked that day, and I was like, well, no kidding, I was there, buddy. I saw that. You think that I'm out there trying to not do well. It's definitely a tough situation to when you're not performing well to have, you're already putting that much pressure on yourself to win, and the fans expect that as well. I mean, it's a great fan group, fan base, and they're passionate about their sports teams, and it's really good when you win, but when you lose, it can be tough at times. But obviously, I think that what most people, the boos and everything, I think that they don't understand is that the fans are just actually, that's, to me, it's like they expect more out of you as much as you expect out of yourself.
Yeah, and that's a thing. I think the booing is just to try to hold the players accountable. I'm not saying any player should like to get booed.
Right.
But you look at it, when Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper have 2 hits through the first 2 games, you have 11 strikeouts for a team that's good enough to win a World Series. It's almost to Nick Castellanos. What else do you expect the fans to do? You're not giving them a reason to cheer.
Yeah, that's exactly. And being on teams that weren't as good back in the day, and now when when we came through in the 07, and we started taking that way, probably 05, 06, getting close but not getting there, and then finally do it in 07. There was a turn in that city. Now they expect every team that walks in there to win. And I'm not saying, yes, I would say we kind of started that, but we were feeling the repercussions from the 93 team and stuff. And then I'm sure they were feeling it from the 80 team. So, going that long without championships. And if you look on paper, I mean, the Phillies got one of the best teams, most talented teams in all of baseball, as well as the Dodgers and stuff. And I think that the fans, when they see the stuff on paper and the salaries the guys are getting, they expect to win immediately with that roster. And it's a tough game. You go through patches where you're going really well, and then you go through patches where everybody's not clicking, and it takes one or 2 guys to get hot to really pull a team together, pull them through. And I mean, you look what Aaron Judge is doing right now. He carried that team last night, and Vlad Guerrero's carrying the Blue Jays without Bichette in the lineup. So it's it could only take one guy, but then the other guys kind of pick up their game a little bit too. So it could turn around at any point and any time. I mean, it's baseball. It's why I love watching it. But I also understand that it is a very tough game, especially with the guys, or 15-year-olds throwing 100 these days, I guess.
Talking to Brett Myers. So 2 days ago, when you're watching them drop that game 2, and it's in the 9th, and they're making that rally, and Stott lays down that bunt, and Castellanos on the wheel play, just gets thrown out. Did you thought it was the wrong decision with no outs in the inning to bunt? Personally, I didn't have a problem with it in the moment, but a lot of people were upset with it.
I didn't have a problem with it. There's very rare time do you see the wheel play run in baseball, period. And from what I've heard, that Freddie Freeman said that was Mookie's idea when they went out, and it worked out perfectly for them in that situation. But that wheel play, honestly, as many games as we put on bump plays, it's usually just play one, which is everybody crash, get the out, and go from there. But they played that perfectly, and it was a gamble because, like I think Rob Thompson said, that if, at any time they tell those guys to pull back and slash, and that is actually the rule if you see the wheel play, to try to slap it through that hole over there. And Mookie broke late, and Stott didn't see it. And I think any other time, if that play's not on, that bunt gets down, you got Castellano on third, and you got a chance for a sac fly or a base hit to score that run. I mean, that's how we used to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And now the bunt has kind of went away from the game. It's hit home runs. You got leadoff guys hitting 40 bombs these days, but they're hitting 220. And I hate that old guy thing or whatever, but we had Jimmy Rollins and Shane Victorino. Jimmy gets on, steals second. Shane gets him over. Howard and Utley get him in. I mean, that was just kind of the way you played the game back then. Now it's all about the long ball.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people last night because obviously people aren't happy with Rob Thompson. The players usually, even though they get the blame, they don't usually get cut here or traded here. It happens time to time. Usually the manager's the first one to go. But with Jimmy's analysis on TBS, some people are saying, oh, maybe he should manage the Philadelphia Phillies moving forward. You could see that guy being a manager one day, right?
Jimmy's a very smart player. I don't think he would have had the career if he wasn't. I mean, and he put the time and effort and work in, and I think that a lot of us it's what we grew up in, and being around guys and learning from guys like Rob Thompson, who's been around a long time. He's had a lot of great players play for him, and he's coached a lot of those players as well. So I'm sure a lot of his knowledge has worn off on guys like, not saying Jimmy because he wasn't with him or whatever, but like we had Charlie Manuel, the guys that taught Jimmy the stuff that he knows, and the stuff that, and Davey Lopes, our base runner, first base coach, taught Jimmy a lot of stuff too. I mean, we've all had good coaches that have helped us get to learn what we know now. And Jimmy's obviously in the studio and analyzing stuff just the way he did as a player too. So I'm not sure Jimmy wants to manage, but I don't see any person that's played as long as Jimmy has, or any players played as long. I think that more guys that have played that long should get more opportunities in the game, honestly.
Wrap it up with Brett Myers. We'll talk more about some of the stuff he's doing this weekend in Jupiter, Florida in just a bit. The Tigers just extended their lead. They're now up 8-3. So barring a collapse here in the last 2 innings, it looks like we're going to get that Game 5. And Tarek Skubal in a Game 5. Man, as a baseball fan, let's go. That's going to be fun up against the Mariners.
He wasn't throwing 100 at 15.
Yeah.
I think he confirmed that, him and Paul Skeens. So
yeah. No one knew who they were.
I know, but see, that's what's great about the game of baseball. Those guys put in the hard work. Nobody knew who they were, and they weren't these young phenoms, and they put the hard work in. Now they're two of the best pitchers in baseball. How cool is that?
How would you approach Judge? We know what he is as a player. Last night, he hits that home run. Now people are wondering, all right, what happens tonight? You got to win. Maybe momentum starting to shift. We're going to have to see. If you're pitching up against Judge, what would the approach be?
Well, I honestly have to look more in depth in it. I don't throw 100, so I guess I would have to take that guy's stuff. And I watched him turn around a 100-mile-an-hour fastball last night after he did overswing on the pitch before. And man, did he shorten up and hit that one. That was a really tough pitch. I mean, a lot of hitters could probably tell you. I honestly wouldn't have been that upset with that pitch location, but he just put a really good swing on I wouldn't say it was a great pitch, but it was a very tough pitch at 100 miles an hour to catch that up and in. So, but you know, those bigger guys, I've always been taught, man, that you try to not let them get extended, but he just proved last night that he didn't need to get extended to hit the ball out. So, you know, it would take one of the best hitters in baseball right now, correct? So he's hitting 530 something for the playoffs at this point. So I kind of would probably pitch around him in key situations like that. If you really want to know, kind of like facing a Barry Bonds in a big situation. I know they say solo homers don't beat you. So maybe with nobody on, you might want to go at him and try the best you can to get him to hit a ball for you. But with guys in scoring position and a big situation like that, you might not want to risk it.
Yeah, I was talking to A-Rod before the season started, and I asked him, you know, who's the best baseball player you've ever seen? Because, right, Judge and Ohtani get thrown into these conversations, especially Ohtani with the two-way ability. And, you know, he said an answer I agree with. He said it's Barry Bonds. Is Bonds the best baseball player you've ever seen?
Well, I mean, luckily I didn't have to face him a whole hell of a lot. So I guess that was good for me. But when I did face him, it definitely felt like he knew that everything that was coming. It didn't. And if you were lucky enough to sneak one by him, but just certain things that I don't know if he could see the ball out of the hand longer than most guys, but it definitely felt like your stuff was not good when you faced him. I can tell you that. And other guys, you felt that you were good, you felt good, but he did it to everybody. It wasn't just one guy that he hit or half the league. It was the whole league he did that to. And honestly, I don't know if there's been a more fierce or fearful hitter that anybody's ever faced. I mean, because he didn't miss many barrels, and he still says he can hit today. So, you know what? I gotta believe him.
I wouldn't put it past him. I still think that guy could go out there and hit a few home runs if he needed to. All righty, Brett Myers, before we let you run, tell me what you're doing with Perfect Game and everything going on with the WWBA World Championship taking place this weekend.
Well, I got to tell you, I've been coming to this tournament for my older son who plays at Florida now. I've been coming down to this tournament for probably the last 4 or 5 years, and it is a sight to see. I got to tell you, I came the last 2 years when my son wasn't playing down here just to be around the atmosphere. A lot of old faces, a lot of former players down here, watching the younger talent and to see what the future has to hold for the game of baseball. I think that's what intrigues us former players more than anything, and maybe help pass on a little bit of our knowledge and a little bit of our wits, I guess, towards them to try to help develop the future. And I think that could help baseball go even further with some of these kids. I mean, I don't remember too many 15-year-old kids being put on a national stage with obviously with social media and stuff. You would know who these kids are at 15 years old. I'm pretty sure nobody knew who the heck I was, and no matter how hard I threw the ball. So this down here with all the major league scouts, all the college recruiters and everything, it is a 1,500 something golf carts. You got to watch your back. You might get run over down here, but it's something. If you want your kids to play in the most prolific tournament, I would say you want your kid playing in this tournament. And it's something really cool to watch. It's obviously I like going down to see a lot of old faces and stuff like that, and obviously watch some of the top talent. And I think this is a tough tournament to get into. This is the best of the best in the underclass level, and I'm excited to see what this year's got to offer. I got to see some of them last year. Some of the guys came last year, and I think one more year in advance. I want to see what the weight room's going to do for them, and see how these kids progress. And can't wait to see what happens in the draft.
Brett, good deal. Safe travels. Thanks so much for doing this. Be well.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. Brett Myers joining us once again. Perfect Games 27th Annual WWBA World Championship is taking place in Jupiter, Florida this weekend. Brett will be coaching his son's team as well as acting as a PG ambassador. Thursday triple header is airing on Perfect Game TV and the free PG TV app, featuring phenom pitcher Striker Pence. What a name. Striker Pence.
Hunter Pence's son?
The 15-year-old nephew of Hunter Pence, who throws 100 miles per hour in the 12:45 p.m. game on PGTV. You got any good one-liners for us now?
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, because you said about Samter the last update. I am still laughing about that one. Samter.
It's also the timing of it,
He needed a tissue. He was very upset. Made him cry. I think he hurt his feelings.
I kid because I love.
Okay. We'll get the news briefing on the other side. Update time first. Here is a very mean Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
And this report is sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you could save at progressivecommercial.com. The Bengals aren't wasting any time naming Joe Flacco their starter a day after acquiring him from the Browns, so he'll make his second start against the Packers after posting a win over Green Bay in Week 3. Two-time MVP Lamar Jackson missed practice today, putting his status for Sunday in jeopardy. Baseball playoffs and the division series continue today, and what a comeback by the Tigers after falling behind 3-0. They came back with 3 in the 5th to tie, and then broke it open with 4 in the 6th. Riley Green with a home run to snap the tie. Also Javier Baez adding one, as well as Gleyber Torres in the 7th, 8-3 as they head to the 8th at Wrigley. Michael Busch tying the game in the bottom of the 1st with a home run after Sal Frelick opened the scoring with a sac fly in the top of the inning. That's where they stand right now in the 1st inning at Wrigley Field. Also coming up, the Yankees will try to stave off elimination once again when they host the Blue Jays tonight. And the final game of the day features the Phillies and Dodgers, who are going for the sweep. I'm Rich Ackerman.
The Infinity Sports Network is on your smart speaker. All you have to say is play Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Hey, this is Howie. And this is Nick. From the Backstreet Boys. And you're listening to the Zach Gelb Show. And guess what? Zach is back. All right.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
Oh, my God. We're back again.
Alrighty, it's time to answer Ask the Pros question of the day, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Aaron Milwaukee says, Zach, assuming the Tigers hold on to force a Game 5 with the Mariners, which team do you think is more dangerous out of the AL? You can submit a question by tweeting at INF Sports or at Zach Gelb using the hashtag #AskThePros. Pick O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts. I think the team that is more dangerous at this does go to a fifth game, and we got to see who's going to win it. It would be the Mariners are more dangerous in the way the question is worded to get out of the AL. Who I would pick for Game 5, if it's Mariners and Tigers, I'm picking the Tigers. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, who pitched really good in game 2, but they lost, is he really going to lose 2 games? They're not going to be able to find a way to get 1 victory while he's on the mound in this series. So I know last year, right, he had that 1 inning where it didn't go his way in the postseason. But I think Scooble would win game 5, but I think the team that would have a better chance at defeating either the Yankees or the Blue Jays would be the Seattle Mariners. Now, with that being said, the Tigers were looking like one of the best teams in baseball for most of the season. They had a rancid second half. And then they lost the division, but they played the Guardians. They ended up winning that series. So maybe the Tigers are starting to get back to what the Tigers were supposed to be and what they were in the first half of the season. But if you ask me who would win game 5, I'm going with Scooble. I think I'm, outside of Stu, or even including Stu, the two of us are the biggest Scooble fans on the planet.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this guy for years now.
Yeah. Helped me win second place in my fantasy league, his great statistical season.
Did you really win anything if you said?
Yeah.
You got
Oh, yeah.
You got some dinero?
Yes.
Good dinero?
Yes.
Okay, so
good.
You didn't win a championship, but you got compensated.
Yes.
So you have a second place ring, is what you're saying, in terms of
I could buy a second place ring.
How many General Tso's chickens could you buy from that restaurant that you like? I would imagine a lot of them. All righty. Time to update you some of the biggest stories in the world of sports with some audio. We get to a news brief right now.
Time for your daily news brief. We get you caught up on the rumors, reports, and reconnaissance from the day in sports.
All righty, so Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and A.J. Brown all had a meeting, I guess, to try to get Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown on the same page. Here is Nick Sirianni on the meeting that did take place with his offensive stars.
Love the fact that we all get together and are looking for solutions to continue to get better. That's just not a coaching thing. That's just not a leaders on the football team. That's this team. That's the mindset of this team is how do we keep getting better, be playing our best football by the end of the year. And so you love that. You love that for all the guys. And when I always say to the coaches, like anything we're preaching, we better be living ourselves. And then you have the same thing with when the captains on your team and the leaders of your football team are doing that, and just focusing on how we get better and take the next steps, that trickles down to everybody. That's my theory with coaches. That's my theory with the leaders of your football team. So, this isn't all that different than, last year going through these things as well. You buckle down, you find solutions, you find answers to the problems, and you work yourself to get better from that.
Let's stay with the NFL. Joe Flacco was traded from the Cleveland Browns to the Cincinnati Bengals. He'll start this week up against the Green Bay Packers, and Flacco's already defeated the Packers once this year when he was with the Browns. Here is Coach Prime Deion Sanders on the Flacco trade.
Flacco,
yeah, I got that
Cincinnati.
text during practice.
I was just wondering what your reaction is.
I don't give a damn about the Browns at all.
What about your son?
About the Colorado Buffaloes. I do love me some Shador Sanders, don't believe that. I care about him. The rest of that mess, I don't. Okay?
Mess?
I'm a coach trying to win just like they're trying to win games, but I could care less of who they traded. I'm pretty sure Pac is going to get on his podcast and do what he does and break it down to you and for you. Ain't you, Pac?
That sounds like a dad who is upset with the decision-making of the Cleveland Browns, but I don't think he's doing his son any favors there. Here is Kevin Stefanski on what the Flacco trade now means for Shador.
Well, first I'd tell you is the Joe trade took us by surprise. That was not something that we saw coming. They called us, and it happened very fast and happened not too long ago. So still working through all roster type of things. I always have to be mindful of our players and our players' development, and I want to make sure that I'm always doing what's best for our players and, of course, our team. But, with young players, I'm always thinking about last week making the change to Dylan. You have to think long and hard about that because these are young players that you're so invested in their development. So I'll let the week play out and make a decision later on that.
You're not going to make him the second-string quarterback? That's what it sounded like right there. That's what it sounded like right there. Let's go to Gerald McCoy. He was on the Arena Gridiron on the Gannon versus DeMercado situation.
I mean, he gave him a little shove, and he's a coach. He ain't no boxer, so he ain't gonna be accurate with his little hit. He probably tried to hit him on the chest. I don't have no issue with any of it. It was that crucial of a play with all adults. You don't know their relationship. Something like that has happened with me before. My coach, Joe Cullen, one time we were playing Atlanta, and I didn't get into the A-gap. And when he got to the sideline, coach was like, did you get an A-gap? I'm like, no, because the splits and however, blah, blah, blah. And he gets in my face, and I'm yelling at him. He yelled at me, and, like, get out of my face. Like, is this really what you want to do? They had to pull me back. They had to pull him back. And then the media got wind of it. It became a thing after the game. They asked me, Joe, what happened between you and Joe? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. We both knew, let's downplay this because that's our relationship. Me and Joe had already settled it. You handle that behind closed doors, and you get in front of the media, and you say, hey, listen, we pros, we talked about it, we dealt with it, moving forward. The apology, I personally feel like that was a him thing. Like, let me protect my image and how I look. I don't think that was about the kid. The heat is on me, so I'm going to publicly say I apologize and all this, so y'all know that I did apologize. But, nah, it's just pros being pros.
I think he was told to apologize. I don't think he wanted to apologize. And I think it's ridiculous that he had to apologize. Finally, this is on CBS. Allen Iverson lists his top 5 NBA players of all time.
Top 5. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Shaquille O'Neal.
Steph Curry.
Absolutely.
That's
Never
the top
seen
5.
nothing like it before in my life.
Where's Kareem? How about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Allen Iverson, never seen him play. All right? I'm just telling, I'll teach him a lesson. You know that's Mad Dog tomorrow. 1,000%.
I mean, no Magic, no Bird.
Yeah, there's other guys there too. But Kareem was, to me, the glaring omission.
Yeah.
And we know how Magic feels if you're going to say Steph Curry's better than him. Because he dropped the mic. That was the most passionate I've ever heard Magic Johnson while talking about a player maybe being better than him. He dropped the mic there. And I know that Steph Curry thought the reaction was very funny. That was communicated to me that Steph saw the clip and Steph was like, oh, I got conversations agitating Magic Johnson. All righty. That will do it on the Zach Gelb Show, the Infinity Sports Hour. We'll be back tomorrow. Fun show today. Big thanks to Bijan Robinson. Big thanks to Jadarian Price. Big thanks to Patty Boyle and Brett Myers. Stu, Samter, Ack, Mr. Funny today. Thank you as well. And big thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific time. We out. Bye-bye. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Peace.
You're in a 5-minute break.